cash you need in as little as 2 weeks without paying closing costs. LoanPronto.com. See how much you can get right now. Call 919-381-1760. That's 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. For qualified homeowners, equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
With Bet365 early payout, you win even if they lose. Get paid out instantly when your team goes up big, even if they blow the lead later. Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in North Carolina.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
WCMC FM HD1 Holly Springs.
We thought France was going to dominate them with their attack, but let me just tell you how fantastic Spain played. You know, their defensive ability, Rodri was phenomenal. He was patrolling that midfield, limiting their space to be creative. They were just so comfortable. They were composed. They dictated the tempo. They really showed how resilient they are and how tough they are to defend. I thought Laporte was fantastic. From top to bottom, they were a team that worked well with one another.
It is the Adam Gold Show, and welcome to Uptown Charlotte ACC Football Kickoff. I am here. We'll have Dave Doeren on the program a little bit later on. We are going to get you ready for the start of the ACC football season. We'll go from Dublin. We were going to go to Rio. We're not going there, but all the way maybe to the national championship game. Miami is one of those. Again, as they were a year ago. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about. We have a new ACC football tiebreaker, which we're going to get into it. We're going to have some teams play 9, some teams play 8. We got a lot of things going on. Victoria is here. Have you had a good time so far?
Oh, yeah, it's super fun here. And the sun's not in our face like last year.
Was it? Well, I don't remember last year.
Yeah, we were unfortunately in one of the tables where like the ceiling opened up. So.
Get to my age and you don't remember. Like stuff gets pushed out the back. I just don't have the same bandwidth that I used to. All right, we got a lot of stuff to do. Before we really start the program, I can tell you this. We know when the first Storm Watch will be.
We do.
I love this. September 29th. It's a Tuesday. Storm Watch at 4.
Mm-hmm. Early
4
watch.
o'clock. 4 o'clock. Hurricanes home opener has been revealed by the National Hockey League. It will be against, drumroll please, the Florida Panthers. Oh, boy, it's fun. And just like last year, when the Stanley Cup champions opened up at home at 5 o'clock, they will do so against a team that didn't make the playoffs and also ran. Hurricanes against the also ran Florida Panthers at Lenovo Center. Stanley Cup banner raised, all of that. Looking forward to it. And again, 4 o'clock Storm Watch on locally on 99.9 The Fan. But you can always join us online. You can always do that. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. So, Max, roll the music.
Let's get it started. Let's get it started.
All right, we already started. I told you the Canes were open up against Florida Panthers. I couldn't wait for that. I thought there was some talk that maybe Florida and Tampa would open up against one another, and that maybe it would be Carolina and a Washington or a Pittsburgh or even the Rangers. But nope, 5 o'clock. Drop of the puck. Actually be like 5:10, 5:15. We announce all the players and the banners all go up. Man, I cannot wait for that at Lenovo Center, September 29th. Remember, it is an 84-game schedule next year. 2 extra home games, which not 2 extra home, 2 extra games. One, of course, will be at home to come closer to playing everybody in the division 4 times. I don't know. Why are we bothering with these things? It's the only sport. Well, I shouldn't say that because the NFL will do it eventually and go to 18. We really need fewer regular season games, not more, and maybe more playoff games. But that'll come when we have more teams. So there you go. Hurricanes opening up against the Florida Panthers on Tuesday, September 29th. Now we have a target date. Cannot wait. and only 4 preseason games. That's even better. 2 of those against Florida. The regulars won't play in either of those games. All right, we're at the ACC football kickoff. Just to kind of give you the lay of the land here, Roddy Jones, college football analyst, will join us in about 15 minutes. Dave Doeren, top of the hour at 1 o'clock. Michael Strickland, who is the associate commissioner for football here at the ACC, entering his 14th year. He will join us. We have a new executive director of the Peach Bowl. And how does their bowl fit in with the modern and the future of college football? We'll talk to David Epps about that. Wes Durham will stop by. So we got a lot of things that we are going to do. We'll talk a lot of college football today. Let's just get into some of the things about the Atlantic Coast Conference. They announced the new tiebreaker. You remember last year when Duke ended up in the ACC championship game? They did so based on a number of things that happened the last couple of weeks of the regular season. Certain teams beat other teams, and all of a sudden Duke, with 2 losses, cycled back to the top of the tiebreaker realm, and it was them and Virginia in the ACC title game. And everything would have been fine had Virginia beaten Duke, because Virginia was one of those teams that, all right, they'll be the 5th conference champion and they'll get a bid to the playoff. And I am of the mind that Miami would have gotten a bid anyway. But once Duke got into the mix, then it became, how do you have a 5-loss team in the college football playoff? Now, never mind whether or not had the SEC had a 5-loss team play for the conference championship and win it, I don't think we would have the same conversation. That's neither here nor there. But when you lose 5 times, I think it stands to reason that you don't belong in the college football playoff when the playoff is only 12 teams. I don't think you'd have that same situation. We might not have a conference championship game anyway when we get to 24 teams, and that's really where the whole sport is headed. But the ACC developed a new tiebreaker. So there are 3 prongs to the tiebreaker. We're going to quickly gloss over 1 and 2. Number 1, head-to-head, without saying. Number 2, because in the grand wisdom of the Atlantic Coast Conference, we have decided that some teams will play 8 games and some teams will play 9. So we're going to ignore 8 or 9 when it comes to breaking a tie. And we're going straight to number 3. And really, you don't even need number 2, because when they're saying we're going to ignore whether you played 8 or 9, why even have it? So really, when we go right to after head-to-head, we go to number 3. And number 3 is body of work. And when body of work was initially released, and I went, well, how would they determine body of work? That seems awfully vague. And they have a statistical formula. It's an analytic, basically you'll throw numbers, strength of schedule, strength of record, home, road, blah, 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 all of that. You'll throw that into a computer and it will spit out a ranking. And they will go by essentially those rankings, assuming that those rankings will match up with logic, eye test, all of that. I don't know how it's going to play out. I would have preferred had the Atlantic Coast Conference just simply said this: what's ever best for the league? That's all we're going to do. What's ever best for the league. Because what is body of work? Is body of work you played 3 really good teams and went 2-1 against them, and you played the rest of your body of work is terrible, or not in terms of your work being terrible, but the teams you played being terrible, or the other team played in a whole bunch of really good teams but no great teams. How do you weigh that? Well, the computer might weigh the second part of that greater than the first, and the first maybe are all playoff teams. So that, to me, I would just much rather go whatever benefits us. But as we'll find out later on, that probably wasn't going to fly to a committee. And we like transparency, but we'll see how it all works out. The truth is that the ACC's tiebreaker last year was basically the same as everybody else's in the Power Four. But the ACC is the only league, because exactly how it happens. ACC is the only league that got burned by it. Drats, Duke football. Revenue. Jim Phillips said today that when the numbers are all in from 25-26, that number is going to be north of $900 million in revenue. Still, by the way, significantly behind the SEC and the Big Ten. And the ACC with 17 football members, 18 total members. You divide that by, SMU doesn't get anything. Stanford and Cal get reduced shares. And there is a sliding scale based on performance and attention. So it's not, every team's not going to get the same amount. But at the top end, the Clemsons of the world are going to be rewarded handsomely. And at the bottom of that scale, it's still going to be good, but it's just not going to be as good as what Clemson gets. It'll probably be a gap of $20 or so million from the top to the bottom, maybe even a little bit longer, a little bit more. But ultimately, it's not going to be where the Big Ten is. It's not going to be where the SEC is. I think the numbers we saw from the Big Ten, and they were even, I believe, a year earlier, was almost $1.4 billion. But we've known this to be true for a long time, that the Big Ten and the SEC will always rake in more money than the ACC. For whatever reason, Big Ten television contracts spread out over many, many different entities. CBS has a part. Fox has a part. You've got Peacock and NBC. They've got a part. You've got 3 different partners. The ACC has 1. That's what the SEC has now, too, by the way. 1. Wonder if they rue that decision. The ESPN pays a ton of money to the SEC, less money to the ACC, but still a lot. And they have bought those exclusive entire rights. Big Ten, a lot like the NFL, where they have pieced it out across a bunch of networks and a bunch of platforms. Jim Phillips said the ACC is still on board with the Protect College Sports Act, which I was having a conversation with some people about this earlier, kind of offline. And it would be wonderful, and by wonderful, it would at least be calming to the people in the industry. It would not be wonderful. It would be a bad deal for players. And the leagues aren't in, all that in favor of it. But it would be a wonderful thing if Congress could act and help out and stabilize college sports. Again, I'm 100% against it. But here's the thing. They won't. They won't ever. And the only thing that really the conferences want and the NCAA wants, all they want is some form of antitrust protection. So here's what would happen. Let's just say pipe dream, pie in the sky. Congress comes up with something that is amenable to all parties, meaning all conferences. And they pass something, which again, they won't, but let's just pretend they do. And it involves some form of antitrust protection. Unless the players have a say in this in terms of collective bargaining, which would necessitate the schools declaring the players employees or in some way treating them like employees legally. Unless they do that, the antitrust protection that you get in Congress will never, ever stand up in court. So what are we doing? We're just going back. Billable hours will be your winner. Like, you can do all you want. There isn't a lawyer that has said that'll protect you. 0 lawyers have said that. I keep saying I'm not entirely sure that the NCAA employs attorneys. They probably should look into it. All right. Also, the ACC is all about a 2014 playoff. That's the number. I think that's ultimately where we're going to be. I have decided to stop fighting City Hall on this matter. I have always been a fan of 4 is better. I was actually a fan of 2, but 4 protects everybody in case there are legitimately 3 undefeated teams from power leagues, and you can't really, discern 1 versus 2 versus 3. I get it. You needed it. We're never going to have more than 4 that deserve to be part of a 4-team playoff. Here we go. But then they've decided that 12 was the number. 12's no good, even though 12 was fun in year one. They've already tried to go to 16. We have to wait on that till next year because they couldn't decide on the format. We're going to end up at 24. Is what it is. 24 is what it is. But the ACC is on board with it because they believe that they can get maybe 3 or 4 teams into the college football playoff. I mean, I wish them well. I think there might be years they can make arguments for 5, going forward. But here's what we know. The amount of money that is in the sport that the schools, top schools in the Big Ten and the SEC possess, we're going to get more teams in from those leagues in the playoff, and the ACC will be, along with the Big 12, fighting for scraps, which is what it is. But you'll probably get, on average, between 2 and 3 teams a year. Between 2 and 3 of 24, is that better than between 1 and 2 of 12? I guess probably it seems pretty the same, right? Just on a much grander scale, and then it becomes how high your teams are seated. I understand 24 feels like I guess the phrase would be participation trophy. But think about it in these terms, and I've talked about it with Chip Patterson. 24 feels like if you're in the top 25 at the end of the year, there's the reward. You basically get a chance to be in the playoff. All right. And again, we can talk a lot about the ACC. Last year, Miami played for a national championship. If last year's playoff were 24 deep, would Duke have gotten in as a conference champion? And now, by the way, it's automatic that your conference champion gets in? Yeah, maybe. I'm sure they would have. They probably would have been seeded 24th, but that would have been better than not being seeded. And speaking of Duke, Darian Mensah, the quarterback, who last year led Duke to the ACC championship, backed out of the second year of a $4 million contract to go to Miami. He was was recorded already. He will be on with Tim Donnelly and company and Dennis a little bit later on the 99.9 The Fan in Raleigh. But they have been nice enough to allow us these 2 answers, because Donnelly started out by asking Darian Mensah, why'd you leave?
I don't think it was anything that happened with Duke specifically. I think, just the opportunity that presented itself with Miami, as far as, I wanted to compete for a national championship. I think we have an extremely good roster. And I think, seeing what the past 2 quarterbacks did, I think at the position, I think is something that made the move more attractive.
So when you say you wanted to compete for a national championship, you won an ACC championship, and this year ACC champion automatically gets that CFP bid. How did the weighing of those opportunities lead you to Miami when it appears as if the opportunity could have been there?
I think, seeing, what Coach Dawson has done with the last 2 quarterbacks was the deciding factor. Really, I think that I want to be a top 5 pick, and, seeing, Cam do that 2 years ago is something that made the move more apparent to me.
There you go. Darian Mensah wanted to play for a national championship and wanted to be a top 5 pick in the NFL draft. I respect the honesty. I think he's right. Probably not going to be a top 5 pick in the NFL draft coming out of Duke. Probably not going to compete for a national championship coming out of Duke. That doesn't mean Duke is wouldn't have been a good football team, but I don't think they would have been in that category. You're going to Miami. You are playing with, a significant number of future NFL players. And if we're being fair, that's not what he was going to be, surrounded by at Duke. That doesn't mean that Duke is not a good football team. And they were certainly a good football team last year. I know they lost 5 times. But if we were go back through the season, there were some games Duke probably, not to say probably shouldn't have lost, but because I don't think Tulane was an easy place to win. I don't think Connecticut was an easy place to win. They lost both of those games. Had Duke won both of those games, I don't know that we're talking about a different scenario for Darian Mensah, but we're talking about a different scenario for Duke football. But they didn't win those games. They ended up the regular season 7-5. But it was still a good football team. So this is not a knock on Duke. It's more about Miami as a place to go and win a national championship. I have nothing but respect for Darian Mensah. I wish the situation wasn't quite as messy, but it is. Speaking of messy, they play today. Argentina and England. We will not talk at all, even though the return was all about Spain bossing France off the pitch in Dallas. But maybe we'll get to that later on. When we come back, one of the best college football analysts and a two-sport star in his own right, Roddy Jones, a Georgia Tech alum, ESPN, ABC college football analyst, will join us next at ACC Football Kickoff. I am Adam Gold. This is the Adam Gold Show.
Because your fantasy football team needs all the help it can get, the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. Join me and my co-host Chris Lee from WRAL TV as our podcast Panthers Playbook rolls on this offseason, presented by Wake Orthopedics. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on Carolina Panthers news as we break down the NFL draft, insights on free agents and prospects, plus all the inside information on the offseason. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, choose custom installed upfit solutions from Van Products.
Global Golf, Carolina's home to the largest selection of pre-owned golf gear, is having a 2-day sidewalk sale this Friday and Saturday only with huge deals. Drivers starting at $50, apparel starting at $25, shoes starting at $40, and golf bags starting at $50. Only at the Global Golf Outlet Store, located on 7320 ACC Boulevard, North Raleigh. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 6. Global Golf, home of the best deals in golf.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
This is Gordon Miller from Miller Lending, the original home of the no-cost mortgage. If you've been in the market for a new home or just wanted to take advantage of lower rates, recent events have shown exactly why Miller Lending chose to offer a way around bad timing with our no-closing cost program. With no fees rolled in or charged, including the cost of title insurance, you can simply close on today's rates and refinance free of charge as rates improve. Over the past several months, we spoke to numerous borrowers who had heard rates were coming down and chose to wait. We explained that if rates did fall, you could simply update a few documents and refinance again, but why take the chance? So when rates spiked 0.5% recently, not only was I disappointed that we couldn't help those who waited, but also for those buying a home who just saw a sharp increase to their monthly payment. So while we can't control the market, we can offer an alternative. Eliminate timing and say goodbye to closing costs forever. 919-447-3377, or simply apply online at millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender and MLS number 250-2146.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like head administrator for a state-of-the-art surgical center.
What can I do for you, Doc?
We need to talk about the lights.
Ah, the mood lighting, relaxing, right? Much better than those old hospital vibes.
A hospital's supposed to have hospital vibes.
You seem tense. Let's dim the lights a bit.
This is your job for sponsored jobs.
This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
This is Adam Gold.
The American Cornhole League. I don't know if you can wager on it. Let me just go to FanDuel and find out if you can wager on it.
I think I read you can get a scholarship. Kids in high school can actually get scholarships for cornholing. Who knows? I don't know what the technical term is.
I'm just not going to say anything.
The Adam Gold Show.
Roddy Jones was a 2007 39th round draft pick by the Chicago White Sox. Your scouting report, Roddy, was quick hands, gap power.
but not quick enough hands or good enough gap power to get drafted in a round that still exists.
That's true. It does not exist anymore. But anybody that was drafted, you were drafted out of high school. Anybody that was drafted into Major League Baseball obviously had some ability. You were 1 for 8. As a college baseball player, who was your hit against?
Oh, it's a great question. It was the team was Duke, I believe.
Yes, very good. I don't know who the player was.
I don't know who it was either. But, yeah, so I tell people I played 2 years of college baseball. It was the wrong 2 years, though. The first 2 years would have been great because I wouldn't have taken any time off and I would have still been in the rhythm of things. I played my 3rd and 4th years of college. So after a couple of years off, it was a little tough to get back into ACC pitching. But I think had I given it another 3 or 4 years, maybe we could have had something.
Doesn't it, like we're going to talk football here, but doesn't it make what Michael Jordan did for the Birmingham Barons?
Unbelievable.
Like people go, well, he only hit 213. I'm like, what do you mean only? He hadn't played baseball for a decade.
Dude walked off the street and hit professional pitching. 1 out of every 5 times he got a hit. Like what are we talking about? It's incredibly difficult. The timing was so hard, and the. Going from the level that I played at high school, which was like a high school level, to college, the way the pitches moved was different. Like I'd never seen a fastball that went up, and of course, like it doesn't actually,
right.
but it looks like it when you've got those heavy fastballs with a lot of rotation. So it was a fun thing. We had great teams. I had great teammates. It was a lot of fun.
I was going through, how am I going to introduce Roddy just a little bit different? It's like, oh, look at that. He was drafted in baseball. We could talk about that.
Talk about baseball forever. Absolutely.
We could. ESPN, ABC, college football analyst. And we could talk about that. You were after the Georgia Tech era with Nomar and Jason Varitek.
It was.
Totally different.
But like Derek Dietrich, Deck McGuire were first-round picks. They were my year. So we had some, and we had a couple others after. So it was fun.
All right, let's talk about ACC football. Dr. Jim Phillips, the commissioner, said that this was one of the strongest ACC football seasons ever. I'm not even going to debate it. I mean, Miami played for the national championship. How would you characterize what we saw last year and how it pushes us toward this year?
It was a journey. It was a journey as the ACC has announced its new tiebreaker policies for the conference championship game. I was just reading before we walked down here. But I think ultimately you ended up in a really good spot with the right team in the college football playoff and Miami going on the run to the national championship, losing by, was within touching distance of Indiana, had chances to win that game. And you got taken down by an all-time great team in Indiana. So there was no shame in that. And ultimately I think the league ended up in a really healthy spot. Over the course of the season, let's just say I think the league needed that run to get some respect, because over the course of the season when the leader in the clubhouse outside of Miami, but really in November, the leader in the clubhouse to make it to the ACC championship game is Virginia and SMU. While those two teams were really good last year, it's not going to do much for the public perception of the league outside. And so I think the way it ended up really helped the league. But overall, I think from top to bottom, the competitiveness was there, and it was a lot of fun to cover.
They took a little bit of a risk because with Duke winning, it put a lot of things in play.
Yes, it did.
Do you think that there were – Roddy Jones is joining us here. Do you think that there were any deals? I don't know if you can make a deal, but did the committee say, all right, it's either Miami or Duke and not both? Because there's a lot of people that think had Duke gotten the spot that went to the other group of 16, had Duke gotten that spot, that it would have been Notre Dame over Miami.
I don't think so. I think the Notre Dame stance was pretty indefensible.
I agree.
As the season went on.
But it should have been indefensible 4 weeks prior.
And that's where they got in trouble, is the fact that after the ACC championship game is when you flipped it, like in the last rankings. So no, I don't. I don't subscribe to that. There's a lot of people outside that do.
Yes.
I don't subscribe to that, because leaving Miami out as the first team out when Notre Dame gets in just seems it seems very counterproductive to what we're trying to do in college.
Silly.
Athletics.
I would go silly.
Yes, is a great way to put it. so no, I don't necessarily think that. What I do think is that the committee had to take a hard look at itself. Miami had lost 2 straight when those first rankings came out. They'd lost to Louisville. They'd lost to SMU on the road. I think the committee ranked them as they were and thought to themselves, we probably won't have to deal with this. And to be honest, it was a better than 0% chance that they weren't going to have to deal with it at all, with Miami dropping another game. Or if Notre Dame dropped, then obviously you could rectify it. But the worst case scenario happened for the committee, where you had to hit it head on in the last rankings. It was something of their own doing. But no, I don't think that had another ACC team gotten in, Miami would have been left out for Notre Dame.
Let's dig into the tie-breaking procedures. They announced new ones today.
Yeah.
They're somewhat vague.
Yeah.
Right? There's not first thing is head-to-head. I think that makes sense.
Great. Makes perfect sense.
Perfect sense. It would be going back to Miami, Notre Dame. It wouldn't have made sense with the same situation had Notre Dame gotten in and Miami not, when we had seen them on the field. The second one is, we're not going to consider 8 games versus 9 games, whatever, which we get into a bad situation. We could talk about 9 games. I've never been a fan of a 9-game schedule for other reasons that go beyond some teams are playing 8, some teams are playing 9, more home games than road games, things like that.
Right.
Then the next one is the third prong of this is body of work. How do we determine that?
So the determining factor is let me pull up the actual verbiage of it, because it has to do with Sports Source Analytics.
Right.
And it's the team success ranking provided by Sports Source Analytics. While I do feel like that will get the ACC to the right place, I wish it was something, and maybe they will publish the team success rankings by Sports Source Analytics. That'd be great. I wish it was something transparent. I hope it is something transparent. Right. College football playoff rankings are transparent. The issue with doing college football playoff rankings, like the American Conference does, is they don't come out until, if you had to get into the championship game, you have to decide who those 2 teams are on Sunday. Well, the college football playoff rankings don't come out until Tuesday. And so what the American does is it's the highest ranked team in the college football playoff rankings based on going into the last week of the season. So it's regardless of, and this isn't a tiebreaker scenario, it's regardless of win or lose or whatever. If I'm ranked 10th and you're ranked 15th going into the last week, if I lose and we end up in a tie, I was ranked 10th, so I get in over you who might have won.
Right.
Does it make perfect sense? Does it fit everything? No. But it is at least transparent, and it's something that everybody's agreed to. I hope this is transparent. I hope we have access to the team success rankings by Sports Source Analytics. But ultimately, I think it will get the ACC in a spot where Miami would have made it last year over Duke. Because the issue with last year is you had teams like Stanford, North Carolina, and the results of their games impacting who made the ACC championship game. And that's not right. Like the number of games that, Miami played this team, Duke played this team, those 2 teams are at the bottom of the league, but they played each other, and, North Carolina beats whoever, that should not determine whether or not Miami or Duke gets
I think it was, in some ways, Roddy Jones is joining us here, in some ways they were a victim of their own idea to be fair, right?
Well, and look, here's the other thing I want to make abundantly clear.
I'm not in favor of fairness, by the way.
Neither am I.
There should no fairness in college football.
And the ACC's tiebreaker scenarios, the ACC's tiebreaker last year was very similar, if not exactly the same, as every other Power 4 conference.
Exactly.
There are 2 conferences that had different ones, the American and the Mountain West. The Mountain West had a tiebreaker that had to be broken by a computer, and they had to wait until late on Sunday or early on Monday to announce who was in the championship game because of it. And then the American obviously didn't have that scenario, but they had college football playoff rankings. But everybody else had the same tiebreakers.
Exactly.
The ACC is just the one that got stress tested.
Because Duke lost 5 times, it made everything crazy. And Duke was, I think, a pretty good 5-loss team, but the
best 5-loss team in the country.
And Do you get something for well, they got an ACC championship
yes,
out of it.
Yes, you do,
so
actually.
What are we talking? You do.
Yeah.
You win the league. Roddy Jones is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. All right, I actually think that the ACC should have just put out tiebreakers a vibe, and we're going to do whatever is best for the league.
On its commissioner's discretion.
Right. Do that.
Completely respected it.
Do that, and
cool.
I would have much been in favor of all of that. All right, now
it'll finally be Florida State Miami in the championship game.
Well, you were talking about Miami, and all I'm thinking about is John Swafford at Sedgefield somewhere going, "This is what I was thinking about in 2004. This is what we wanted. It took a long time to get here, but Miami is that team that needs to carry the flag for the league. Beyond them, it looks like it might be SMU and Louisville, two relative newbies, certainly relative newbie to a Georgia Tech or, some of the other schools that have been in this league forever. Clemson, maybe. Would love to see Clemson get back. This is where the ACC was maybe a decade ago, but with different players, where the football brands need to start being the leaders in the league. I think SMU, as long as they're going to be in the league, that could be a great football brand in the league.
It will be, because what Rhett Lashley has done there has been tremendous. And they are building their legitimacy at this level. But as a brand, everybody knows who SMU is. Everybody's been around college football. And if they continue to operate at the top part of college football and the top part of the league, they absolutely will be there. Imagine if that Cal game goes a little bit different last year, or the Wake Forest game, either one of those. Then SMU's back in the ACC championship game with a chance to go to college ball playoff. And ifs and buts, whatever. But if SMU back-to-back ACC championship game appearances, and let's just say they win it last year, back-to-back college football playoff appearances, we're talking to SMU is hey, is this baby Indiana? Is this a team that was nowhere and now has established itself at the top? They're a couple snaps away from that, so they're not far from having that perception. I really like what SMU has done. I am not ready to completely write off Clemson. I'm not saying Clemson is going to win the national championship. I don't think that. But that was a team last year whose talent did not live
9 players drafted.
Did not live up to what we expected.
Yeah.
They were not as bad as their record. And so while I don't think they're as talented as they were a year ago, I do think the overall product will be better. And if you're, a little bit better, they're a little bit better against Georgia Tech. They're a little bit better against Syracuse. You're now at 9 wins, and that feels a lot different than where they ended up with 7. So I'm not ready to write off Clemson. I do think it's Louisville. SMU are the proven brands behind it. I'm a little more bullish on Louisville than SMU, although I think SMU is going to be really good. I just have big questions about SMU defensively. They're having to replace a ton on a defense that was abysmal against the pass last year. And so what does that look like? Scott Simons is off to the NFL, who I really respected as a defensive coordinator. They've got some really interesting pieces coming back. They always do a great job on the portal. And they've got Kevin Jennings. So I think the Kevin Jennings factor is one that we have to certainly take into consideration.
Let me ask you about a local guy, C.J. Bailey.
Love him.
I was talking to a friend of mine who said, and I trust him completely about football matters, said he thinks C.J. Bailey could be the best quarterback in the country.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
It's high praise. It's I'm not going to say he can't. There's a lot of great quarterbacks this year. It's a very crowded class. So I think if C.J. Bailey is at his best, he is one of the best quarterbacks in the country. I think you'd have to have some things go wrong with other guys for him to be the best. But I do think C.J. Bailey has the potential to be a first-round draft pick next year, and if not in the 27 draft, and then the 28 draft, because he's got a couple years left.
Yes, he does. He has options.
If he wanted to use it. I really like the development that he took, the step that he took, and his comfort running the ball, I thought really grew over the course of last season. And that is not going to be a huge part of his game, but I think it can be an absolutely deadly part of his game because he's faster than I think even he thinks. People do have a hard time catching him. It's a long strider. And when he can climb in the pocket, escape through one of those lanes, bounce, get to the sideline, and get upfield, I think he can be really dangerous. He's worked on his fundamentals this offseason. The stride's going to be more consistent. I think that more repeatable delivery, but the talent is there. There's a lot of hype about him coming out of the Manning Passing Academy. So I am really high on not just C.J. Bailey. I'm kind of high on NC State this year.
Very nice.
I like NC State. A lot of it's because of C.J. Bailey. A lot of it's because of Duke's got in the backfield. So a lot of it's because of the schedule. And I think there will be some natural progression for them defensively. The defense has to be better.
Yeah.
And so I think it will be less.
That was unusual.
It was. They were super banged up on the back end, had a ton of young players playing. Those guys are coming back now with experience. You're having to replace some stuff up front, but they always have a pretty good defensive front, so I'm not super concerned about that. But I think the schedule is the reason that you would buy NC State. Like, I don't think talent-wise they're one of the best in the league, but if you have one of the best quarterbacks, and he was second in the ACC in QBR last year, behind only Carson Beck. So the guy played incredibly well. He should be 1 or 2 in the ACC in terms of quarterback, maybe 3 if Kevin Jennings continues his ascent. Like, it'll be Darian Mintz, C.J. Bailey, Kevin Jennings, in my opinion. And then after that, like, if that defense improves a little bit with that schedule, I think NC State can make some noise.
All right, final thing for Roddy Jones, 24. Are you a 24, team playoff guy? Like, I was all about 4.
Yeah. I felt like that was a really good number.
I did too.
Until Florida State happened. I was like, maybe 5.
Well, Florida State got screwed. I think we can all agree on that. Or at least I will make an argument for it. 12 worked. I thought 12 was fun.
Yeah.
I don't know that 12 is the best number. 16 probably better than 12, but 24 seems to be where everybody is landing. Yeah. We're probably going to end up there anyway. What are your thoughts on? It's so different when you play it, Roddy.
Yeah, I don't like the number. I don't like 24. Like, I think you're now essentially handing out participation trophies. Like, oh, well, inclusion.
They do that in Norway, by the way.
Well, it works really well for them. I mean, it's the most successful Winter Olympics country in history, in a country of, 5 million people.
It's the size of South Carolina.
And it made the quarterfinals of the World Cup. Maybe we should give out participation trophies.
Maybe
we shouldn't keep score until they're 14, what they do in Norway. Now we have to change the pay for play setup that we have in the United States, but that's neither here nor there. I think it's too many. The thing that I like about it is you get another round of on-campus games.
Sure.
I do like that a lot because I think that is the essence of college football.
100%.
And while those games feel big when we move them out, it does neuter some of what we love. And you look at the FCS playoffs, and the FCS playoffs is 24 teams, and it's phenomenal. A lot of on-campus. The entire thing's on campus until you get to the championship game. So I absolutely love that portion of it. But, to have an Illinois who went on a run in the FCS playoffs, the FBS level, because the disparity in talent is just so great. Like, you're talking about teams with double-digit pros versus teams with, single pros, as opposed to, an FCS. Everyone's generally the talent. There's disparities of talent. But I would argue that the disparity between a really good FCS player and a bad FCS player is lower than a good college player or a good FBS player in a first-round pick. Like, those are massively different
100%
players and just makeup. So I think it's too many. If we get there, I'll adopt it. I would hate to see the championship games go away. But ultimately, it will be great. The thing that the NCAA tournament in basketball benefits from is volume of games. Like, the reason that we are so into it is not because all the games are great. They are not. Most of the games are terrible.
Yep.
But there's so many of them that you never have to watch a bad game.
Right.
And so you just flip to the next game, which is always close. And then if you are watching Thursday, Friday, and 2 games are buzzer beaters, and you've never had to watch the second half of a blowout, you feel like you've had a great day. There will be some of that with a 2014 playoff. Volume will create more close games, more competitive games, and we will fall in love with it. But I think it's too many, and I think some of the matchups that you could get, while good matchups, I'm here for it, aren't going to necessarily dictate the national champion.
Yeah, it is too much, but that's where we're going.
Yeah.
Because money.
Yes.
The overriding factor in college sports now is revenue.
It is, which is, natural as the money has exploded.
Yeah.
But I do feel like it's eroded a lot of the things that we love. It's brought some really good things. And look, the sport's as popular as it's ever been, despite itself screaming about how terrible it is. We need better PR.
Yes.
The sport's as popular as it's ever been.
Roddy Jones, you are a gentleman. I appreciate your time.
It's always great to catch up,
man.
AG.
I'll talk to you soon.
Yep.
Fun conversation with Roddy Jones. All right, we've got one-timers on the other side. Dave Doeren, NC State head football coach, at the top of the hour. Adam Gold Show live. ACC Kickoff, Charlotte, Uptown, Hilton, here on the Adam Gold Show.
His Zamboni is bigger than yours. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
I'm Eric Roberts, and I want to talk to you about giving, the gift of life. Right now, over 100,000 people are waiting for a life-saving organ transplant. More than 90,000 of them need a kidney. One organ donor can save up to 8 lives. To learn more about organ donation and how you can help, visit mnitf.org. Become an organ donor today.
We all have someone we love, like the favorite lyric in our favorite song. You can't imagine life without them. So tell them today, I love you. Get screened. It could help save their life. Visit cancer.org/getscreened to learn more.
Kids across America are going to school hungry. Millions of kids every day. But one simple thing can help change all of this for a hungry child in America. Good, healthy food and the energy it brings. With help from caring people across America, No Kid Hungry is providing healthy meals and hope to hungry kids so they can build better futures. To learn more about ending child hunger in America, go to helpnokidhungry.org today.
This is a trusted space.
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 Access free films and resources to build trusted spaces in your schools and communities at atrustedSpace.org.
Using gas to heat our homes, cook our meals, or dry our clothes can be dangerous to our health, especially for kids. But we have the technology to transition the country's infrastructure to clean energy. By encouraging local government and state agencies to electrify buildings instead of using dirty gas, we can clean up a public health crisis in our housing and protect the climate. My name is Matt Vespa. I'm a senior attorney at Earth Justice, and I'm going to court to fight for clean energy. Until safe, affordable clean energy is an option in every home, I will never rest.
Earth Justice is a national legal nonprofit defending the environment and people's health. Earth Justice is fighting to save lives, protect our climate, and strengthen our economy through the shift to zero emissions. If clean air matters to you, visit us at earthjustice.org. Earth Justice, because the earth needs a good lawyer.
We learn valuable life lessons from our loved ones. Lessons that protect our home and keep us safe, like avoiding pests such as cockroaches that can be attracted to leaking pipes, or mice that are drawn to left-out food. And standing water around your home can be a breeding ground for mosquitoes. Stopping pests that can spread disease is a valuable life lesson to pass down from one generation to the next. Learn how you can have a healthy, pest-free home. Visit pestworld.org. A public service message from the National Pest Management Association.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
I think my biggest challenge was getting through to him to understand that love is real and you have goals in mind, you have things that want to happen, and I want to help you get there.
Sometimes people tend to shy away from wanting to adopt teenagers because they feel like they've lost so much, but there's still so much to gain.
Just knowing that there's just that other person that cares and loves me out there, it feels great. And they've done so much for me, and I can only be appreciative every single day for just having them in my life.
I think it's been the best decision because I gained a son, and he's the best son ever. If I was down and out, he'd be there.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Every act of change begins with a neighbor. When neighbors connect through the Feeding America network, small actions ripple into lasting impact. Feeding America, led by neighbors. Take action to end hunger now at feedingamerica.org.
This is Adam Gold.
We're going to have Seth on the show next week when he gets back from vacation. He was by a pool.
What are you doing? Get off Twitter. It's nicer to be on Twitter when you're by a pool anyway.
No, just stop. Stop engaging with people.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. We are live ACC football kickoff uptown Charlotte at the Hilton. And we are here. Dave Doeren will join us at the top of the hour. We will also talk with the Associate Commissioner for Football of the ACC, Michael Strickland. I'm going to ask him to kind of give me an idea of where on the on the football scale that ACC football fits. It was a weird year last year. We had a team that almost won the national championship, but at the same time, the conference champion didn't make the playoffs. So there's a lot of ways to look at ACC football, and not all of them are flattering. And we'll also we'll meet the new executive director of the Peach Bowl, a bowl game that is very ingrained in ACC lore, but is also part of the college football playoff ecosystem. We'll talk about that as well. Right now, we always reserve time for your questions because we're live on YouTube. Hi, YouTube. Search Adam Gold Show or 99.9 The Fan, and you can dump your question in there. It's one-timers.
Oh, hi. And even though we're in Charlotte, we still have plenty of one-timers.
I'm sure. Well, why wouldn't we have one-timers just because we're here?
I'm actually really excited for one of these. So, but first up, from Live Spectator, a 24-team college football playoff bracket means an extra week of games. They can pull it off at the FCS level, but how do you accommodate the dozens of bowl games?
They won't matter. The 24 teams that are part of the college football playoff would not be playing in those other bowl games. So, yeah, it's not going to – I mean, I actually think structurally the one thing they would always have to deal with is what they have had to deal with before, which is a lot of conferences, a lot of schools within conferences are on different exam schedules. And this is the one time where the powers that be in college athletics remember – that's right, we're college. And these athletes need to take exams. But it won't be an issue with bowl games.
All right. Next up from William. What would you do to fix the transfer portal in college football? Limit players to one transfer, sign a contract, and or you can transfer if the coach leaves. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I think the only problem with the portal is that there were two. There's now one. They just have to firm up the time. I would never restrict players moving. Nobody else gets restricted on their movement. Why should the players have restricted movement? I'm all about the players going where the best to the best situation for them. I mean, they might make mistakes. All right, we all do it. People change jobs all the time. And that's what this is. College football, for better or worse, has become a job. And nobody can tell you, Victoria, you wanted to get a job somewhere else. Nobody can tell you can't take it. If it's offered, you have a better position, go for it. And I suggest that my position is the players should always be allowed to do that. Not mid-season, that's crazy, but when the season's over, yeah, you're free to go.
Yeah. All right, next up. This is the one I'm excited for.
Okay.
H. Sadler wants to know, I have enjoyed listening to soccer in Spanish. Do you recommend any other languages to listen to?
Let's see. Other languages to listen to.
French might be fun.
That is a great question. I don't know, Japanese?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. It's a very, that's a weird question. That's great. I love it. German, no. That's harsh.
Yeah.
Very harsh.
Why are they yelling?
Well, they're always yelling.
They're always yelling.
Probably is Spanish. Honestly, there's nothing that even compares to listening to soccer in Spanish.
No, and
nothing.
the 10-minute goal.
Oh, my gosh. It's so good.
I love it.
Andres Cantor, the best.
Well, this is a different one, but along the same lines. Can good vibes carry Spain to a title?
I mean, Spain can win a title because they have the ball all the time. That's what happened yesterday. France never had the ball. Spain was amazing. It was, it's funny. Remember the Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Finals? Jacob Slavin played the best game he's ever played, I think. And I'm not sure that Rodri has ever played better than he played anchoring the defensive part of the midfield for Spain yesterday. He absolutely controlled every element of that game. That's why Spain was able to beat France.
Yeah. Well, this one, moving on.
So the answer is no.
No.
It's just Rodri can do that.
Yeah. This next one is about our Carolina Panthers from Griff Barlow. Any thoughts on the Panthers being in this year's Hall of Fame game?
It's
Any
too bad.
thoughts?
It's too bad. I don't know. I mean, it's cool. I mean, they'll play the first preseason game. Their uniforms will play the first preseason game. You might see a couple of players that will feature into the rotation. But for the most part, I mean, you're not going to see anybody. That's fine. It's just a football game on TV.
Mm-hmm.
The best part about being in the Hall of Fame game is that there's a reason for you to watch only because of Luke Kuechly.
Yeah.
Kuechly's going to the Hall of Fame. End of discussion.
He might sound the drum, too, beforehand. That'll be awesome. And this might be last with time. C. Brooks wants to know, do you see the Canes line staying the same this year, excluding the time missed by Jarvie?
No. And it's funny when I've seen some line projections. Why are we doing this? Right? Though nobody would have had the lines at the end of the season. Right? At the beginning of nobody would have had that. You wouldn't have had Stahl playing with Ehlers and Jarvis. These things always will develop over time. I hope that Hall, Stankoven, and Blake have the same chemistry that they had last year. But I also wouldn't be surprised if all three guys were separate. Nothing will surprise me when it comes to that because every year is different, even if you have the same personnel. So there you go. That was one time. Dave Doeren on the other side. 14th year at NC State. We'll talk to him about it next.
Asheville to Wilmington, Boone to Durham, the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold here for my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. How do you get to be #1 in sports bookings? You give your clients options. FanDuel Super Sub, what a great idea. What this means is because not everybody plays the full 90 or the full 120 at this incredible soccer tournament. Sometimes your guy gets subbed off 70 minutes in. Your bet can stay on with FanDuel Super Sub because whoever comes on for the guy who comes out, that guy assumes the bet. So for England, it might be Bukayo Saka coming on for Noni Madueke or vice versa. You never know. FanDuel Super Sub. FanDuel.com/local. Get started today. FanDuel.com/local. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
No matter who's on the pitch, catch every match at the Dugout Tavern and Grill in Apex, your soccer headquarters. With every sports package available, you won't miss a minute of the action. Enjoy your favorite daily specials, plus $1 off Stella Artois and Michelob Ultra Pints during every match. Stop by for the $10 lunch burger deal. Then stick around for the late night happy hour with buy one appetizer, get the second half off after 9. Great food, cold drinks, every match. Only at the Dugout Tavern and Grill, the premier sports bar in Apex.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
If you have a 2, 3, or 4% mortgage rate, don't refinance it. You don't have to, but you can still get cash out of your home. Introducing Loan Pronto's zero-cost equity loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. That's right. With Loan Pronto, you can get all the cash you need without touching your first mortgage and without any fees. One local homeowner just got $100,000, paid off all their credit cards, paid off their existing HELOC, remodeled their kitchen, and saved over $1,500 per month. It gets better. There's no hard credit pull up front, usually no appraisal, no long drawn-out process. And listen, no closing costs. You may be able to even skip your next 2 house payments. Call Loan Pronto now. Leave your low-rate mortgage intact, but get the cash you need in as little as 2 weeks without paying closing costs. LoanPronto.com. See how much you can get right now. Call 919-381-1760. That's 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. For qualified homeowners, equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel neglected or unloved? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
What is dedication?
My daughter is biological and my son is adopted. I love them both so much. From the morning when you wake up to putting them to bed at night, and every moment in between. I think a parent's job is to protect our children, but also prepare them for the world so they become good, kind human beings.
That's dedication. Find out more at fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Storage Studio. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Canes light the lamp here.
He's got the best out of Jude Bellingham, who's matured now into a world-class talent, who's now got 6 goals in the World Cup. So they're not just reliant on Harry Kane. But I do think if I was to point to one thing, it would be the coach, who has the ability to pick a moment to change the game in a positive manner. That's not something they've always had. I think Gareth Southgate built the culture that allowed England to challenge again. But I think Tuchel gives them that ability to be the team to get over that finish line.
It is the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Summer of Soccer. World Cup. Second semifinal today, England and Argentina. I'm going to guess that Dave Doeren, entering his 14th year as head coach at NC State, not locked into the World Cup?
Not at all. Nothing against them.
Right.
Soccer fans can have at it, but that's just not how I spend my time. I'm cheering for the U.S. all day long, but I'm not going to be watching it.
It's all right. It's okay. I mean, I've loved it, but I'm glad I'm here, and I'm glad to see you. 14th season. I don't know how to say this. Why are you still here? You got to be sick of us already.
Yeah, people are sick of my ass too, so that's just part of it. Yeah, you stay somewhere this long that we do to people here in the city. And then people want something new and shiny too, and that's not me. But I'm going to keep fighting my ass off for this school and this program because I believe in it.
Give me a your big picture, not anybody else's, your big picture description of NC State football.
Hard, tough together. I mean, it's a bunch of blue-collar guys that love the brotherhood, love to compete, and know that there's a cost. And it takes a lot of sweat equity.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of tough, transparent conversations, and it takes good people. One thing that I pride myself on is not going to work with people I don't like being around. And so, our culture is built on that. Good people that love to work hard, that love to compete, and want to treat people the right way.
Is it harder to identify? I guess in the coaching profession, you have experience with these people. It's easier. But is it harder to identify the players at an earlier age to have those types of traits?
You have to speed up the process, and you got to have your bullshit meter. I mean, it's got to be real, okay? Because you're looking for what you don't want to.
Right.
And that's more important, really, to be honest, than it's not hard to find a talented football player.
Right.
It's hard to find one that fits your culture. And so you got to really look hard for the things that could blow up. And that's what we do. I mean, we go around and we talk to a lot of people, and you got to do it fast now because these kids, especially in the portal window, that's a quick decision they're making. I call it speed dating. And it's, because they're coming in for 24 hours and leaving and making big decisions, right? And we are too. And So yeah, and your staff has to stick to your guns. Like, they have to protect our culture. And I tell them that, like, you're the guardians of what we've built here, and we want it to be better, not worse. So don't bring a problem into this locker room by recruiting the wrong type of guy.
Right. I'm gonna pick that up in a second, but the way you were talking about culture and all of that, and I know you've done the siren at NC State. And I know Rod Brindamore has had a little bit of a presence around NC State football. I remember Jacob Slavin speaking to the team prior to last season. And they pride themselves. Maybe it's something about the area, right? The Lenovo Center and Carter Finley Stadium so close to each other. But they're about culture and finding the right fit. Does your idea, does that evolve over time? Has that evolved over time? 14 years is a long time.
Definitely have evolved a lot in the last 5 years because of the rule changes in football. Right. And I have so much respect for Coach Brindamore and their team and their family and how they do everything over there. I just season ticket holders in hockey for a while here. Like, unfortunately, we weren't this year. But, when I had my 3 sons in the house, like, that's what they wanted to do. The 3 were addicted to watching the Canes. And so we would go where they would go. And what it did for Raleigh watching that this year was awesome. But I think you have to evolve. And there's no way I'd still be here if I hadn't. Right. There's no way. I would have failed miserably had I not evolved in the space that we're in now and trying to find new and better ways to do things.
Give me an evolution of Dave Doeren, the coach. I'll ask you about offense. How you approach offensive football. How has that changed over the last half decade?
Yeah, I still think the DNA of it's still got to be physical.
Right.
And that hasn't changed. When I was the first 2 years as a head coach at Northern Illinois, I mean, we went as fast as you could humanly go, and that killed our defense. And so, but we still won a lot of games, but we scored a ton of points. And I've learned how to be a coach that understands complementary football. And I think, whether it's outscoring someone or stopping someone or playing great special teams, every snap matters in the game, and they all serve each other. And so I've had to really understand that, being an offensive player in college, but a defensive coach as an assistant, I do understand both sides of the ball pretty well. And I have to really look at what's this side of the ball going to do for that side of the ball and vice versa. And if the offense is hot, I'm going to lean on it. If the defense is hot, I'm going to lean on it. And it may be opposite of what I thought was going to happen in the game. We played a certain team last year. I thought they were going to be really good against us on defense, and we blew them away. And so in that game, we started taking a bunch of chances because they weren't playing well. And there's other games where it's the opposite, right? And they're like, well, why'd you punt the ball right there? I'm like, because my defense hadn't given up a point in the game. So why wouldn't I just lean on them? So you got to learn how to lean on what's working. And I think offense is more player than play. Whereas before it's like, hey, it's a cool play, let's run it. Like, no. How do we get this guy the ball?
Right. Okay.
This guy needs to touch the football. How can we get our best player on their worst player and match guys up in better ways?
Dave Doeren is joining us here at ACC Football Kickoff. Your best player, C.J. Bailey.
Right.
First of all, he has to make a decision. Where you have that window. It's probably a longer window to stay because you've got all this time that you have spent. And there's also time where you explain where we're going.
Right.
But explain to me why C.J. decided that this was the place for him and not elsewhere. I mean, we said down the road, Darren Mensah had an amazing year and left.
Yeah. Well, I think with CJ and really college football, it's relational for me. It's also transactional now. And CJ had to make a decision. And I think it's a huge statement to what NC State is. It's a great place. And he didn't have to stay here.
Right.
And he stayed because he trusts. He trusts the coaches. He trusts the process. He trusts the trainers. He trusts the strength coaches. He knew that we were making him better. And he likes it here, and he wants to make it better. And so it's a statement to him on how great a kid he is and how strong his character is. It's also a statement to our culture because he didn't have to stay in it. He could have gone, and he had a lot of opportunities to leave, but he chose to stay and make this place better.
It used to be a case where you would just go re-recruit or recruit the player, explain how he fits into the offense going forward. But now that pitch is also financial. How does that, I mean, do other people have to get involved with you for that?
Yeah, I've most of us now have a general manager, a GM, and so the GM handles the money talks. I handle the rest of it, the direction, the playing time, the scheme, whatever's going on, right? How we're going to make them better, the value in staying, and all those things. But when it comes to the dollars, I felt like for me, it changes my relationship with the player if that's what I'm talking about. I don't want to do that. And so Andy Vaughn, our GM, does a great job sitting down with these guys or their agents or their family, however they work it out, and have those kind of discussions.
I was talking to somebody who knows players and knows talent that thinks that CJ could end up being the best quarterback in the country. What do you see as, because he's been sort of a blank canvas, right? Like he's got all the obvious physical gifts. Yeah. He can throw it. He can run. He's got great size. He's, I think, faster than people think.
Much faster.
He actually reminds me of I'm going to use a baseball player here. Darryl Strawberry never looked like he was running fast, but he was fast.
Yeah.
And to me, that's CJ. So what kind of player can he be?
I think everything he said is accurate. I mean, I think he can be the best. And to be the best quarterback, you got to have a surrounding cast that allows that to happen. And so we got to do our part, our offensive line, our backs, our tight ends, our receiver. We all got to play hard for him, right? And we got to make the plays that we can make, and then every now and then make an unbelievable play, right? And he's just got to manage the game and let his talent take over. And but he is a special young man, and he's a very gifted one. He could be as good as anybody or better than anybody in this game.
Dave Doeren is with us. Last year, I asked you about the college football playoff, which was 12 teams for the second straight year. And you had suggested 24. And I'll be honest, I was like, wow, that's crazy. But it looks like that's where we're headed. So looks like you were right.
Yeah.
What do you like about a number like that?
Well, I think if you look at other tournament sports, look at the percentage of teams that get into their tournament, and that's where we're going with 24. There's 130 Division I schools roughly.
Right.
And so you're talking about a pretty small percentage still of teams that are going to make it. And being an FCS coach and being a part of the playoffs at Montana, Selection Sunday is a very special day in FCS football. And you find out who's playing who, where you're seated, what schools are going to be on your campus. And it's electric, man. And you do that on a global stage at this level, I think it's going to be so awesome when they do it. And why 24? Access matters. You need to give teams a chance to compete. And they did all these studies. Like we would have been in as NC State during my tenure 5 times, in the playoffs. And so, wouldn't I want to be in 5 times, right? Like that's
right.
Because if you want to be a guy that can recruit, what's a recruit want to know? Can you get us in the playoffs, right? Do I have a chance to compete for a national championship? Well, if you can't get in the playoffs, you don't. Well, now we do. And so to me, it's a huge thing for NC State to be able to say that we have an opportunity to do that.
What does it do? Like you can be good in the 2014 field.
Yeah.
You can be good and not make the top 24. What does it do if you fall just below that threshold?
Well, it's going to be interesting with the bowl games and, where do they go? Do they remain postseason opportunities? Does it turn into the NIT where nobody cares about them and they disappear? I don't know. I mean, that's something that obviously is going to have to be sorted out. But none of us get into it to be outside of, right? We want to be in it. And so that's going to be the deal is how do you get in? And you got to go fight and compete to be there.
Make college football better for me. Tell me something that from your perspective, and I know from a coach's perspective, calendar and things like that would be much better for you, but make college football as an entity better. How do you do it?
I'd get a billionaire to buy college football.
Well, there's somebody that probably would do it.
I would, and you're asking.
Right.
I'd get 64 committed teams, and I'd have 4 leagues, and like the AFC, NFC.
Right.
I'd put them back in geographical regions that actually make sense for the schools. And those 16 teams would play, and then you'd have a playoffs with a wild card, and it'd be just like the NFL. We also would have collective bargaining, and we would have a salary cap. And then we'd find out who can coach instead of who can just pay for their talent. And to me, that's what the NCAA was. It was about having a level playing field.
Right.
Well, it's as unlevel as it's ever been right now. And so how do you do it? You're going to have someone take it from the NCAA and buy it and put it into a system that actually has – we already have the blueprint, the NFL.
Sure.
You take their model and you put it into college football, and then guess what? You create the college football network, and that's where we play, and that network would make trillions.
Oh, yeah. No, so what you're describing, and I don't know how this is going to make you feel, is something that I've been talking about for a long time, that at some point college football as an entity is going to separate from everything.
Yeah.
And I wish it wasn't the case, but now that we're where we are in the landscape, it sort of has to. And maybe it would return other sports, so we wouldn't have 18 teams in a basketball league. That's unwieldy,
Well,
right?
You look at all these conferences, us included. We're the all-coast conference now, right? Like we got 2 teams from California, a team from Texas, and the Big Ten's got USC and UCLA and Oregon and Washington, and you know what I mean. So like
UCLA and Rutgers play a conference game.
So let's get us back into regions and play where people can actually travel to the games, and you don't have non-revenue sports having to travel cross country for softball games and things like that, wasting money. So. I don't know. I hope it happens someday. Not sure that it will, but you asked the question. I think that's how you fix things. It's just going to take somebody with a lot of money to do it.
That's why I asked you the question, because I know you. Because having talked to you enough, I know you think about the bigger picture. All right. Last thing for you before I have to let Dave Doeren go. Is this still fun for you? How much longer do you have the energy to do what you do?
I'm actually having a blast, man. I'm football-wise, like being around the 3 players I brought. I mean, we had dinner last night together at a restaurant here in Charlotte, and just telling stories and laughing, and I'm having a blast, and I really like my staff. At some point, if I'm not having fun, it might be a different conversation, but right now I'm having a blast, so I'm loving it. I feel young.
Okay.
I have great energy.
You are.
Yeah, I have great energy, and so that's nowhere in the conversation.
All right, good. Thank you very much for sitting down.
I appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Dave Doeren, NC State head coach. You always end with Go Pack.
You stop talking and I will. All right. Go Pack, baby.
There you go. All right. Michael Strickland next. Thank you.
Delivering more hits than the Canes forecheck.
He scores!
The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Golf's final major will be found on 99.9 The Fan. Listen all week long as we cover the Open Championship from Royal Birkdale Golf Club. Find out if Scotty Scheffler can bring back the magic or if a new champion emerges. Depend on us for constant leaderboard updates and every big moment through the presentation of the Claret Jug. Coverage of the Open Championship on 99.9 The Fan is teed up by McConnell Golf, where members experience 17 club properties across 4 states with 1 membership.
Adam Gold here from my friend Gordon Miller, Miller Lending, Kildare Farm Road in Cary, a man who saw the future back in 1987. By the way, we are approaching the 40th birthday of the original no closing cost mortgage, a mortgage that allowed you to keep all of your own money. Closing cost money adds up. $5,000, $6,000, depending on the size of your home loan. I have heard more, but let's just work with $5,000, right? What could you do with that? I know what I could do with $5,000. College fund, vacation, maybe buy another car. I don't know. But with Miller Lending's original no closing cost mortgage, you keep your money, the banks get theirs, and you don't have to worry about it, and it gives you the freedom to refinance free of charge when the rates come down. You save thousands, maybe you save hundreds when you lower your monthly payment. Either way, your money, you should be able to do what you want with it. MillerLending.com, great website. Miller Lending on Kildare Farm Road in Cary since 1996, an equal housing lender, NMLS ID 250-2146.
It's your turn to play with the new Scratch Off, Fast Play, and Digital Instance games from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Spin your way toward a $200,000 Scratch Off top prize or go for a jackpot with Digital Instance and Fast Play. Plus, enter for a chance to win a VIP trip for 2 to see Wheel of Fortune in L.A. Come on, big money! Must be 18 or play. Approximate overall odds to win range from 1 in 3.76 to 4.31. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
It's bow time. Ordering Bojangles Bo Bites is the easiest choice you'll make today. The bite-sized hand-breaded chicken is fried to crispy perfection, making it perfect for sharing, snacking, or when you're on the go. Just don't call it a nugget. The only hard part is choosing from our 6 dipping sauces. We've got a sauce for every kind of craving, from our creamy house-made ranch to our sweet and spicy peach honey pepper sauce. It all depends on what kind of mood you're in. Head to your nearest Bojangles today and discover the dippable, shareable, and craveable Bo Bites. It's Bo time.
There's no time like Bo time. Time to head on over to Bojangles to try Bojangles' new Bo Bites. Bite-sized, hand-breaded chicken fried to crispy perfection. On the go, they're perfect for snacking or sharing. Dipped in your favorite sauce like creamy house-made ranch or peach honey pepper, they're the perfect way to satisfy your craving for flavor and value. Try Bojangles' new Bo Bites. It's an easy choice to make when it's Bo time.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon
and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
This is Adam Gold.
Soap attracts dirt, right? That's what soap does. It attracts dirt. Right now, Bill Belichick is soap. That's what he is.
Yeah.
He's soap.
Yeah.
He's attracting all this dirt.
Or he's like an overripe banana and it's attracting all these gnats.
The Adam Gold Show.
Michael Strickland is entering his 14th season as Senior Associate Commissioner for Football. Can you believe we're a decade and a half?
I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it.
All right, give me a sense of on a U.S. men's national team soccer to Spain trajectory. Where is ACC football right now?
Okay, so you're asking me to compare. I know more about one football than another.
Well, famously, the U.S. didn't do well. Spain is in the final.
Okay. The ACC, specific to the sport of football, boy, the last 3 seasons have been really, really strong. 3 seasons in a row with 11 or more bowl-eligible teams. No other conference has a streak like that. Play away from winning the national championship. A few months ago, 2 teams in the field, both as at-larges the year before that. I talked about this with some of my colleagues when we were down in Miami for the national championship weekend. It was my 13th season, and it's the 6th time that we had a team play for the national championship.
Right.
And 6 out of 13 is not bad.
No, not bad. 3 different teams, right? Florida State was at the beginning. We had that Clemson run.
Yes, sir.
Which is, you can make an argument. I know Alabama was one of those, but Clemson was also one of those at the same time. And ACC football was pretty good then.
Absolutely, and we've had a number of great teams that didn't necessarily make it to the national championship game, but they weren't. That doesn't mean they weren't great teams. We've got those those great games with Lamar Jackson at Louisville.
Right.
We've had Aaron Donald at Pittsburgh. So many great players and so many NFL draft picks, first round and onward. So it's just been real fun to. We were at a game at Pittsburgh a year or so ago, and James Conner was there on the sideline, and he walked up to me, and I remember when we honored him here in Uptown Charlotte as the freshman of the year, and he still called me Mr. Strickland. I said, James, you don't need to call me Mr. Strickland anymore.
And he's one of the great stories, by the way. He's had a great NFL career as well. Michael Strickland, Senior Associate Director Commissioner for football in the ACC. This is going to sound harsh. I don't mean it to be harsh. We're coming off a year where you had a team play for the national championship, but also your champion not make the field. Mm-hmm. So for a lot of people, they can see that one way. Miami, great. Probably should have been in regardless. I don't know why it took all the way to the final poll for them to get in. We can have that discussion. But then Duke, with 5 losses, wins the league. So how do you balance the fact that nationally they didn't respect the ACC champion, yet Miami did make it?
Well, we all learned a lot about the math behind the larger conferences.
Right.
The 4 conferences had effectively the same tiebreaker in place last season, and Alabama was not one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the standings in the SEC. They found their way into their championship game through a very similar path. Ironically, Mike Elko, coach at Texas A&M, we talked about that on the field prior to the playoff game because he was in the room when we developed the current tiebreaker, and he came up to me with a grin. He goes, I know what you're going to want to talk about. And he said, I knew halfway through the season that we, Texas A&M, were not going to win the SEC tiebreaker because we got the same metric that we had in the ACC. So we were all in the same path. Certainly a team taking a couple losses in the non-conference, is evaluated at the national level, and intentionally we did not factor in any non-conference results in the conference play. It was a very traditional way of approaching it. But when you're playing 8 or 9 games out of 17 teams, you got the number of do not play opponents, and we found ourselves with a 5-way tie, and that's not going to be it's very difficult mathematically for that to yield they were all common opponents. So the changes that we've made really data driven, embrace the reality that we've got as many teams in our conference as we do, and in the absence of direct head-to-head competition, we're going to go straight to the national metric that we've got that should give us the best chance to put the 2 best teams into the game.
Michael Strickland from the ACC is here as we're celebrating the start of ACC football. And the new tiebreaker came out, and as I'm reading it, head-to-head makes perfect sense. Ignoring 8 versus 9 games, and I want to talk about that in a second. That also makes sense because you could have advantages, disadvantages, home, road, all of that. But as I'm reading the last one, I'm thinking, what would be better would be, it's just going to be a vibe. We're just going to be like whatever's best for the league. If you had said, we're going to do what is best for the Atlantic Coast Conference, I would have gone, I'm all about that. Why couldn't we do that?
Well, in sport administration, you've got to set the goalposts prior to the season starting and then just leave them there. So I think we feel better about our approach than maybe your suggestion.
I just think it'd be cool if it was a vibe. Or talk to me about 8 versus 9. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. I've talked about this for a long time. I don't see why 9 helps unless it's driven by ESPN, which would make sense because they are the partner, or if it's driven by pressure from the outside. Because 8 to me makes everybody can play 8. Not everybody can play 9. So why? Take me into those discussions.
I'll see if I can convert you to the faith. It's really more about 10 Power 4 opponents.
Okay.
And having a resume that's strong enough to earn an at-large spot into the expanded college football playoff.
And are we already thinking about 24?
Well,
in your mind?
Well,
because I'm okay if you are.
Yes, in part, but also our scheduling mandates were from the 4-team playoff or era.
Right.
So we needed to account for even the fact that now that there's 12 spots. So there's more at-large spots now than there used to be spots in the playoff in the first place.
Right.
And so we need to make sure that we've done everything possible for our teams to have as strong of a resume compared to peers in other conferences. And with others at 9, Big 12 is at 9, Big 10 moves to 9.
Right.
Then the SEC moves to 9. We would have been, had we not changed, the only one of the 4 not at 9. And so we would have had teams playing 8 conference games plus 1 non-conference Power 4 opponent because with the others being at 9, the universe of P4 non-conference games was reduced. So the only way we could get to 10 to match our peers in the 3 other conferences was to go to 9 plus 1. And then we had to do the solve for our odd number of teams by having a team play 8. So it was really driven by we need to get to 10 P4s because that's where our peers are, and we want our resumes to be of equal stature come Selection Sunday.
Right. My counter to that is that there's no mechanism that rewards it, really. because Indiana hasn't played a Power 4 team out of – now, I'm not saying that Indiana wasn't great. These two things can be true at the same time. But Indiana hasn't played a soul out of conference in 2 years.
Agreed. If you're great,
it doesn't matter.
You can overcome a weaker non-conference strength of schedule, but your margins for error.
They were great in a weak conference schedule too.
Your margins are much narrower. If you stub your toe,
right,
or lose a second game, then it's really in that it's in that environment where you've got a team that's taken 2 losses. Our 10-2 team versus conference, another conference's 10-2 teams. How do they compare with one another? We don't want one of the negatives for our team to be, well, they didn't challenge themselves in the non-conference.
Michael Strickland from the ACC is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. I would say that you were right at 8, and that everybody else was wrong at 9. It's just I can't get over my own personal feelings about this. This is fine. What are the benefits of 24 in the playoff? I'll be honest. I was great with 4. I was not a 12 guy. And I think we sat here, I don't know how many years ago, and Dabo Sweeney said, let's be fair, there aren't more than 4 teams that can win a national championship. Now, I think over time and with the new structure of college football with NIL and that, there are more than 4 teams. But back when we moved to 12, there weren't. He was right. Now we're 12. We're going to end, I think we'll end up at 24. I know the conference is about 24. Why is 24 the right number?
We're leaving teams out that are capable of winning the national championship. And first and foremost, to your point, with player movement.
You think there are 24 teams that can win?
The way that it is now. Well, if there are not, then they'll lose their first round game,
right?
And then they'll pack up their trunk and go home. Teams, programs are making such sizable investments on an annual basis, and the conferences have grown so large, and the ability to, as we just talked about, the ability to compare and contrast a 9 or 10 win team in Conference A with a 9 or 10 win team in Conference B when they didn't play any common opponents. It's almost, it's impossible on the margins to declare who's the 12th best team and who's the 13th best team. And so expansion would solve that, and from a bracketing perspective, you've got to go to a particular number that you can contest a tournament. And so 24 works from a math perspective. Some years, will there be teams in there that don't have a chance to win a ball game? Maybe so.
Right.
But I think we'd rather that and everyone have equal hope at the start of a season that if I perform on the field, I'll earn my chance into the tournament and have a chance to play against this team from another conference on the other side of the country to see how good we really are.
Is it worth not having conference championship games to go to 24?
That's one of the complications in this process is what to do, with conference championship games.
And here we are in Charlotte, and this is where you work.
Absolutely.
Right, and so that would disappear, right?
It's probably a requirement because you need the week. It's not that we don't want championship games. Winning a conference championship still matters, but we would need that weekend to contest first-round games in an expanded format. So that's certainly one of the issues that we still got to figure out the solution.
And of course, this would provide a lot more games on campus, and we all love.
Well, that's another piece. Right under the current format, the 4 quote unquote best and most deserving teams don't get the chance to experience what is an epic day on a college campus. These playoff games on campus have been amazing.
Yep.
And so why should the 4 teams that most earned it not get that opportunity? So we've learned a lot from the first couple years of the 12-team playoff that people really like, and we'd like more of that.
Final thing, games abroad. Carolina and TCU will play in Dublin. That's awesome. We were supposed to have Virginia and NC State playing in Brazil. That didn't, for whatever reason, come off. I think it's cool. It's a great experience it's the ultimate bowl trip, if you think about it, for the athletes and to coaches and everybody in the traveling party. You see more of this coming, and is this maybe another revenue stream for the league that would benefit a lot of people?
Yes. They do create revenue-generating opportunities for the teams that want to do it. I don't necessarily get the sense that we're going to become the next version of the NFL and take a game a week type thing. But when in selective markets with selective programs for selective matchups, once in a while it might make some sense for schools to do it. So that's currently our perspective. It's not right for everybody.
Right.
It's not right every year for certain teams, but our eyes and ears are open to opportunity. We take a look at everything that comes our way. No member is forced or compelled to do an international game. It's really at membership institution discretion. If they want to move a home game, we'll support them any way that we possibly can. But it certainly drives revenue. It can drive unique exposure. The student-athlete experience, certainly for the alumni, fan, and donor base to get a unique trip like that. Sometimes if it checks a lot of boxes, it might make some sense.
So in the case of NC State and Virginia, with the game being canceled essentially by the promoter, people who bought tickets through the promotion, I mean, theoretically, are going to get their money back.
Yes.
But what about people who decided, well, I can get better tickets, I can get better airfare? Like, what did they do?
Well, the promoter is going to handle all of that, and that's why you hear sports entities always recommend that if you're buying a ticket to an event, that you buy it as direct from the promoter,
right?
And if you do buy on the secondary market, that you buy from that event's official secondary source, because those tickets are verified and would be honored. But if you buy off the street,
right,
you're doing so, at your own peril. Just kind of in general as a word of reminder for all of us that buy concert tickets, and sporting event tickets, and and the like.
I mean, it would have been fun, especially if you think about last year's Duke State Virginia game, which was nuts. You export that to Brazil, you get a whole bunch of ACC football fans if we could have brought that game. Michael Strickland, Associate Commissioner for Football for the ACC. By the way, I know when John Swafford, who was in charge when you took over, his brain 10 years prior was, this is why we got Miami. For this experience. It's not quite the U from the late 80s and 90s, but it's a pretty good outfit.
I don't know. Mr. Mendoza had a few bumps and bruises on him when he was when he took his shoulder pads off that Monday night. So he was pretty strong.
No doubt about it. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Adam.
Michael Strickland, the current 14th year. 14 is a lucky number. 14th year is the commissioner the associate commissioner for football for the ACC. Dave Doeren, his 14th year. We transition to a first year when we come. That's right, a first year. No, this is not like Harry Potter in the first Harry Potter movie. We have a new executive director of the Peach Bowl. We'll talk to him in a second. I just want a couple of things that Michael was talking about there. So we were talking about Miami as the basically the head of the snake of the league, and you go back really 20 years to when Miami was added. It's a little bit longer than 20 years ago when Miami was added to the league, and they were maybe not quite at the height, but they were not far removed from being one of the dominant forces in college football. And the whole plan was to pair Miami and Florida State and have dual, to borrow the phrase, twin towers of the ACC, and it never materialized. I mean, Florida State's reign was starting to wane. Virginia Tech had assumed the role of the conference behemoth, and there was a ceiling there. Miami never hit as an ACC school. Never. We have finally gotten to the point where it looks like Miami they'll never be back to what they were, because that was almost impossible to do what Miami did. But we're to the point where Miami is one of those players, and now the Atlantic Coast Conference needs their other football brands to either join them or rejoin them. And I'm looking at the array of schools up there, and you see the Clemson paw. They need to get back to they're not going to go back to where they were in the mid-teens, but they need to be better than they have been the last few years. So we need Clemson to get back. We don't know what Florida State's going to be. My gosh, if anybody knows what Florida State is, let us know. But we need them to be part of this whole mix. Then you've got Miami. We know what they are. Virginia Tech hiring James Franklin. That is a great, great development for the league. SMU, the newbie. I mean, we might be looking at an era where we have the old Pony Express back in the early 80s. Remember, they were a dominant player in the sport. Of course, they were way ahead of the game, ahead of their time. 40 years ahead, they were paying players outright. Actual payroll. Fantastic. All right, when we come back, we will meet the new executive director of the Peach Bowl. How does that game fit into the college football ecostructure? Next.
Still arguing whether hockey or golf has the tougher dress code? The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold here from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Into the late stages now of the greatest tournament in the world, the biggest tournament that we have ever had for the global game. And FanDuel has a great idea for you. We're just going to be very generic here. Player A, you have an anytime goal bet on him, or he's part of a 4-leg parlay. But he has a microfracture in his leg. He leaves the pitch at the half. Player B comes on. You get player B. It's called FanDuel Super Sub. So you always have some skin in the game, so to speak, and your guy doesn't leave and your bet leaves with it. FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel.com/local. Get started today. FanDuel's Super Sub. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
There was a time when speed wasn't a sport, it was survival. The hills of Wilkes County made outlaws. Only one rule: don't get caught. That's one thing that hasn't changed. This July, short track chaos and nowhere to hide. Only now, it's a points race. Be there when it matters. The Window World 450, July 19th at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Get tickets today at northwilkesborospeedway.com.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell Chocolate Lava Cake is a mountainous eruption of flavor. Classic vanilla ice cream loaded with rich chocolate cake pieces, rivers of chocolate sundae sauce, chunks of dark chocolate, and a deep fudge swirl. Prepare yourself for an earth-shaking experience.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
Did you know Atlantic hurricane season runs through November? From gathering necessary supplies to planning an evacuation route, now is the time to make sure you and your family are prepared. And if a storm damages our electric system, local public power providers are ready to respond and restore power quickly and safely. As a public power customer, you benefit from having an electricity provider that restores power faster than other providers do. Visit electricities.com for storm preparation tips and resources.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. We're delving into a new NCHA report titled More Than Medicine, the Economic Impact of North Carolina Hospitals. My guest is Josh Dobson, President and CEO of the North Carolina Healthcare Association.
Hospitals generated about $52 billion in economic impact last year, roughly 6% of the entire state's gross domestic product. They spent around $44 billion on operations and workforce expenses. And that spending does ripple outward into local economies. Hospitals are often among the largest employers in a region, especially rural communities. In fact, they're among the top 10 employers in 95 of North Carolina's 100 counties.
You can learn more and join our latest conversations on the state of healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. And find out more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
One Adam. Gold. One Adam. Gold.
Turtle cake? Like, what do we... What?
Isn't that an ice cream?
What? Where's the confetti cake? Because, hello, confetti cake, delicious. With the little, I don't even know if it's real, but the little dots in the icing, like...
None of these are real.
What kind of fake thing that is, but it's delicious. It's my childhood. Like, that wasn't in the top 10. His opinion's invalid to me.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. We are on site, ACC football kickoff. It's the media day, getting you ready for the start of the ACC season, which comes towards the end of August. Remember, Carolina will open up with TCU in Dublin State, and Virginia we're supposed to play in Brazil. That game will now be in Charlottesville, which is actually called the Brazil of the United States. It's not. I made that up, but you could pretend. Why don't we just make it a carnival? Never mind. In Charlottesville. All right. A lot of things to do. The Peach Bowl and the ACC have had a long relationship. And for years, Gary Stokan was the man who was involved, who was in charge of the Peach Bowl, was the CEO. We kicked him out of the office. That's right. We have kicked him out of the office. David Epps is the man who did it. Incredible. How'd you do it?
Well, he decided he needed to go spend some time at the lake and with his grandkids, I think.
But I'm glad you put the power move on him and got rid of Gary. Let's talk about, well, I mean, obviously you've got the Aflac kickoff game. I want to get to that. But how do you see the Peach Bowl's role in what is really an evolving college football postseason? We have no idea. Like, this has all happened really quickly. We were at 4 for a long time. We were at 12 for 1 year. We sort of liked it. Now we don't know where it's going. Where's the Peach Bowl's place in this?
Well, it's fun. If college football has taught us one thing since COVID, it's that change is constant and it's not going to stop. So the role the bowls are going to play in this, you know, when the CFP started and there were 6 of us in, but technically only 2 of those 6 bowls every year were playoff games.
Right.
The rest of us were doing
just games,
great games,
fun
but
games,
irrelevant to the determining the national champion. So now that all 6 of us are in here, we've evolved. Our role has evolved.
Right.
Ultimately, we're here to serve college football and make sure that whatever this playoff system is or becomes, you know, that we're serving the needs of the commissioners and the CFP and the presidents and the athletic directors. So our perspective is, are bowl games what they used to be? No. Are they ever going to be what they used to be?
Right.
No. And that's just the nature of change. But change is not necessarily bad. So we look at a city like Atlanta, we unabashedly say we're the capital of college football. We relish the opportunity to still bring all these folks into Atlanta, whether it's for 3 days or 6 days, and make sure they leave with a championship caliber experience. But we know it's changed. We know it's going to continue to change. I think the bowls that are a part of this playoff, we've just got to be flexible enough to continue to serve the needs of the game.
And it has changed so much. It used to be this long build-up. You'd have these 2 teams. You'd know who's coming for like a month, right? You'd plan all these events. There'd be barbecue eating contests. Pie in the face, whatever. But if we end up at 24, is it even less of a role, or is it just just like another stone? A stepping stone on the way. I mean, it has to be so different the bigger this whole thing gets.
Well, especially for those of us who have been in this game for so long.
Yeah.
I mean, I started with the
This is why
Peach
Gary left.
Bowl in 1994. Right, I was an intern way back then.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so then it was all about a reward for the players.
Right.
You know? And we wanted to make sure that they had an experience. I mean, a lot of these kids never got on an airplane before or stayed in a... Now it's a business trip. And by the time the student athletes make it to us, they've likely gotten more gifts. They've had more NIL.
Right.
So the whole cultural context has changed as well. We just have to maintain the focus that when we have student athletes in our control, and really we look at it, we say our constituencies are the athletic directors, coaches, student athletes, fans, and media.
Right.
Right. We want all of you guys who come into our city, whether it's a week or 3 days, we've just got to be prepared to make sure that we make it frictionless.
Right.
And easy and fun.
1994 is 32 years ago, right?
Good math.
Dave,
Excellent.
thank you. It took me the whole question to come up with that. David Epps with the Peach Bowl is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. So how much, and now you started as an intern, how much has the role of your role now, how much has that evolved over the last 32 years? Not that you knew about it in 94, because I'm sure you didn't as an intern. You were running out, handing stats or something to people. But how much has, the people who wore the jackets,
right?
How has that changed? You no longer have to go to games and scout opponents. They come to you.
Yeah, that's the biggest change from sort of old school bowls to new school bowls.
Do you like it? Or would you rather the old school?
Oh, there was definitely an appeal and a charm to what the bowl system used to be. You had bowls maybe jockeying for which teams were going to be in their game. There may have been some backroom wheelings and dealings, and so there was some charm to that. But I don't think that the era now dictates that that's really – I'm not sure that would work anymore.
You're right.
And so, the role now that we have – back then, here's the biggest change. We were serving only our city and our local communities.
Right.
Now, the CEO and our whole staff, we're not only serving the cities, but we're serving the greater good. We've got to serve for the good of college football. Otherwise, we undermine the postseason.
So I had this conversation with somebody. If we go to 24, and it seems like everybody wants to go to 24 in some way, even the SEC claiming they don't want to go to 24, well, they'll end up being at 24 like everybody else. In some way, because I don't think the lower bowls are going to leave us. They're still going to be there. I mean, ESPN owns however many of them, and they want the content. Even though there's going to be playoff games, they're going to want bowl content when there's no playoff games. People, I don't know if you know this, people like to wager on football. We're not advocating for it necessarily, but that's what they like to do. In some ways, we might almost have an old school feel to the 2014, everybody else that doesn't make the playoffs. There still will be something like that, isn't there?
Well, the irony about all of the upheaval in college football and everything that people say is wrong with college football, it's never been more viewed. It's never been more popular.
Ever.
It's never made more money. So clearly there is an appetite for college football. And even you see during the bowl weeks over the past 10 years, people love to watch it. And I think you make a great point that ESPN, those games that they run, they're great content. And people will watch them. So, the bowls that are not a part of the playoff, if it ends up going 24, obviously it shifts the model completely. I mean, I've heard people speculate, hey, why don't we move all those bowls to the front end of the season?
Right. Well, you have one.
And do a bunch of those where you have people start off 0-0 and the fans can come and still have that old traditional bowl experience.
Isn't that what your Aflac kickoff game is basically? It's a preseason bowl game. Not a preseason. It's a first game of the season bowl game.
Yeah, it's a version of it. In fact, that's why we created it, is because we were back in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
We had hoped to become a part of the BCS back then, right? And we didn't get our at-bat. And so we thought, hey, let's revive the old kickoff classic model. And it's a version of that. And there are people who are suggesting, go ahead and do the whole deal. Turn it into a 3, 4, 5 day beginning of the season week.
A jamboree.
Yeah. And it's an interesting model. I don't know how it works, but people love this game. Fans love this game. Media love. If there's a way to keep making and generating more football content, it's going to happen.
Real quick, Auburn Baylor to start the season. The 24 Auburn players, or maybe up to 24 if I read that correctly, will participate in some NIL activities. So you're basically using them to sell the game, not using, but you're hiring them to promote the game, and through various methods, that's how they earn some money?
That is exactly right.
We could have been doing this forever.
Very few people have put it as succinctly and correctly as you just did. It's true NIL.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the way
Which really doesn't exist, but in this case it is.
It is. It's a pure example of saying you got Byron Brown, who Auburn fans care about and will listen to, and when he tells me you can buy a ticket or watch me play on ABC or come to this fan event, everybody wins. So for us, it was working with Auburn to come up with a model that we win because we bring a big game to Atlanta. The student athletes win because they get to engage in real, actual NIL the way it was intended. And then the university gets to, NIL dollars help recruiting.
Sure.
And so knowing that they can guarantee some student athletes an opportunity to really engage in NIL the way it's intended, it's you sound like a cliche. It's a win-win-win. Everybody wins, but that's the idea behind it.
I mean, it should be a fun game. I know Auburn and Baylor have got to be excited to come to Atlanta. Thank you very much, David Epps, with the Peach Bowl. I appreciate your time.
My pleasure. Good to talk with you guys.
All right, we appreciate David Epps, the executive director of the Peach Bowl. I mean, that is true NIL, right? Hire the players to promote the game that they're going to play in. I found it, as I was reading the story this morning, I found it interesting that Baylor, who's also playing in the game, their players would have no true NIL opportunity. But as it was explained to me afterwards, the game was originally an Auburn home game. They agreed to move it to Atlanta for this situation because it would help raise money for NIL. And if this game were being played, let's just say, in Dallas, and Baylor was the home team, they would be afforded the exact same opportunity. So we will see more of these in the future. We will see more revenue-generating, neutral site game, more of them, even though we have a lot of them right now. Wall of Sound on the other side. You'll hear from Darian Mensah and more. And the show rolls on.
Because your fantasy football team needs all the help it can get, the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold here for my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. How do you get to be #1 in sports bookings? You give your clients options. FanDuel Super Sub, what a great idea. What this means is because not everybody plays the full 90 or the full 120 at this incredible soccer tournament. Sometimes your guy gets subbed off 70 minutes in. Your bet can stay on with FanDuel Super Sub because whoever comes on for the guy who comes out, that guy assumes the bet. So for England, it might be Bukayo Saka coming on for Noni Madueke, or vice versa. You never know. FanDuel Super Sub. FanDuel.com/local. Get started today. FanDuel.com/local. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
No matter who's on the pitch, catch every match at the Dugout Tavern and Grill in Apex, your sucker headquarters. With every sports package available, you won't miss a minute of the action. Enjoy your favorite daily specials, plus $1 off Stella Artois and Michelob Ultra Pints during every match. Stop by for the $10 lunch burger deal. Then stick around for the late night happy hour with buy one appetizer, get the second half off after 9. Great food, cold drinks, every match. Only at the Dugout Tavern and Grill, the premier sports bar in Apex.
The wait is over. Football is back in North Carolina. Kick off the 2026 high school football season with High School OT at the High School OT Jamboree, Saturday, August 8th at First Horizon Stadium at Wake Med Soccer Park. See 10 of North Carolina's premier football programs take the field in one incredible afternoon and evening, featuring Wilson Hunt, Union Pines, J.H. Rose, Rollsville, Southeast Raleigh, Wake Forest, Cardinal Gibbons, Millbrook, Southern Durham, and Middle Creek. Whether you're cheering for your hometown team, scouting future college stars, or simply love Friday night football, this is the place to be. Gates open at 3. JV games begin at 4. Varsity matchups kick off at 5 p.m. Get your tickets today at highschoolot.com. The 2026 High School OT Jamboree, Saturday, August 8th, presented by High School OT and brought to you by Talk It Out NC, Wake Orthopedics, State Employees Credit Union, and the U.S. Army. Don't miss the kickoff to football season.
Dauntless Transmissions has been the trusted transmission shop in Raleigh for more than 27 years. But why do they call it Dauntless Transmissions? Well, dauntless means showing fearlessness and determination. Now, the experts at Dauntless Transmission are dauntless when it comes to caring for your vehicle. Whether that means a total transmission rebuild, complex engine or brake service, or just a routine tune-up, your vehicle will be dauntless when they're done with it. Visit dauntlesstransmissions.com. Dauntless Transmissions, your local source for exceptional service.
The next disaster is coming. Make a plan. Keep extra medication on hand. Make copies of important documents. Stay informed and be ready. Learn more at americares.org/send-us-in.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Storage Studio. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Canes light the lamp here.
Every tackle, every pass, every run forward, every run back, they carry themselves like it means everything to them. So I don't think we've seen the absolute best of them, but I don't think there've been many teams that have enjoyed playing against them either. And I think the fact that they never give up, whether you look at, say, their comeback win against Egypt, for example, or finding a way to hang around in that game against Switzerland, they just will not go away. So for as much as we've been very critical of their performances, they're still here, and they still have maybe the best player in the history of the game. So they've not played their best, but maybe they don't need to be at their absolute best to bring success.
Oh, it's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold, and we are here. ACC football kickoff in Charlotte. Speaking of football, England and Argentina, second semifinal of the World Cup, will kick off in 1 hour. Where, as I said yesterday, really not going to talk about it at all today. France falls to Spain yesterday. Spain awaits the winner of today's match on Sunday afternoon in New Jersey for the World Cup. Just awesome stuff. I know Dave Doeren wasn't into it, but he also made a point to say, hey, if you're into it, great. Like, he roots for Team America, USA, and we're done. We're done with Team USA. Speaking of Team USA, you hear a little bit from a U.S. men's national team alum, Jeff Cameron. He's an ESPN soccer analyst. In just a little bit, in here in the Wall of Sound, we got a lot of stuff to get to. Wes Durham's going to join us in about 15 minutes. And then if you did not hear Dave Doeren, that interview will be brought to you in about 35 or so minutes. I mean, we're going to talk to Wes, however long Wes goes. We'll get to Dave Doeren right after that. We're at ACC football kickoff in Uptown Charlotte. So many things have been, with the ACC has given us enough stuff to talk about today. 2014 playoff they support. According to Jim Phillips, we just had one of the strongest football seasons in conference history. His words, not mine. They're still pushing the Protect College Sports Act on Capitol Hill. And there is a new tie-breaking procedure. So what happened last year won't happen again. We start with head-to-head. That wouldn't have dealt with it. We didn't have enough head-to-head, comparisons in the Duke situation. It basically goes to body of work. All right. Isn't that kind of vague? Sort of. They are going to have an analytical way of determining body of work. Now, will everybody buy it? We'll see. We'll see. I really wish they would have just said, whatever is good for us, whatever makes us better, whatever, earns us the most money. Well, however, just do what's best for the league. And I hate being beholden to statistical formulas because sometimes the math doesn't math the way you want it to math. All right, those are other matters altogether. Let's talk to the Wall of Sound.
The Wall of Sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
All right, we'll start with ACC football. Darian Mensah, who, if you are listening on 99.9 The Fan in Raleigh, he will join Tim Donnelly coming up on the next show. And Tim asked Mensah, why did you transfer to the Hurricanes?
I don't think it was anything that happened with Duke specifically. I think, just the opportunity that presented itself with Miami, as far as, I wanted to compete for a national championship. I think we have an extremely good roster. And I think, seeing what the past two quarterbacks did at the position, I think is something that made the move more attractive.
So when you say you wanted to compete for a national championship, you won an ACC championship. And this year, ACC champion automatically gets that CFP bid. How did the weighing of those opportunities lead you to Miami when it appears as if the opportunity could have been there?
I think, seeing, what Coach Dawson has done with the last two quarterbacks was the deciding factor. Really, I think that I want to be a top 5 pick, and, seeing, Cam do that 2 years ago is something that made the move more apparent to me.
All right, now, real quick, roster, the ability to compete for a national championship. According to Bill Connolly on ESPN.com, yes, his projection is that Miami is a 10-win team. Duke 6.5 wins. Now, obviously, Darian Mensah makes a difference to both Duke and Miami. So what were those numbers prior to Darian Mensah? I can promise you this. The numbers really don't get moved that much. They get moved, but not that much based on the player at quarterback. Even if you jump Duke by 1 and dropped Miami by 1, we're still talking about a better chance of a playoff berth with Miami as opposed to with Duke. And then you get to Cam Ward was the first overall pick. We know Carson Beck has a chance to be certainly a good quarterback and maybe even a starting quarterback in the NFL. That's at Miami. You're playing with better players. End of discussion right there. One more thing in the Wall of Sound, then we're going to take a break because Wes Durham is going to sit down with us. Roddy Jones, he was on SportsCenter. We talked to him earlier, but he was on SportsCenter earlier today. And he was asked, UNC, will they be better?
They are going to be different. This team is going to be better. I say it in that tone, though, because the schedule is also a lot tougher than it was a year ago. But let's focus on the positive. One, I think this coaching staff and this organization knew a lot better how to operate in the transfer portal than they did a year ago. They I think, were a little overwhelmed by the pace of the transfer portal last year, and they've, in their own UNC kind of way, admitted that. But two, they bring in Bobby Petrino on offense, and you can say what you want about how Bobby Petrino fits with coaching staffs or what his personality's like. The guy can coach ball, and he can call ball plays. That Arkansas offense was actually very dangerous through much of the season last year, and were really bitten by turnovers for a large chunk of it. So the run game is going to challenge teams. I think you could see Billy Edwards, the incoming quarterback, have a pretty nice season if he has a run game as well, because he's got talent. The question is, what is the overall talent on the roster, and how do they deal with the schedule that is tougher this year? But I do think this is a team that's going to be better, and I do think this is a team that should make a bowl game this season.
ESPN, ABC college football analyst on the prospects of UNC, which they should be better. But will it matter in terms of wins and losses? Wes Durham, the voice of the Atlantic Coast Conference. Your segment's next.
I can hardly wait. I really only came here. I really only came here to talk to Victoria.
That's fine. Well, you guys will have time during the commercial break.
We will. And then when we come back, I'll talk about how my wife became a huge Canes fan during the Cup run.
Hey, if you would.
Victoria Newman Durham, who wouldn't know a hockey puck from a pizza plate, fell in love with the Hurricanes.
She's a smart woman.
Yep, she sure is.
In many, many ways.
Yeah. By the way, Alex Faust also wants to let everybody know, and he and Sean McDonough both, that they're, while they're impartial,
right,
they're excited for Hockey Town in Raleigh.
Very nice. We can talk about that too. All right, all of that. You already know. Wes Durham, voice of the league. Next.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
Don't look now, but the Carolina Panthers are actually, get ready for it, getting some love. There's going to be some hype. There's going to be some expectations this year. Top 5 defensive tackle Derek Brown. Top 100 players, 4 of them. It is time for everybody to gather around and get ready that there might be some high stakes for the Panthers this season.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
Iconic summer moments deserve an iconic drink. Reach for Mountain Dew, an American original. From its beginnings in the foothills of Tennessee to your biggest summer yet. The refreshing citrus kick of Mountain Dew is the perfect companion to your American summer adventures. Enjoy the refreshing citrus kick of Mountain Dew. Tasting great since '48. Look for Mountain Dew in stores near you at mountaindew.com. That's mountaindew.com.
Rev up your summer at the Make This the Summer event going on now at John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington. Grab summer adventures when you drive home a brand new 2026 Ram 1500 for 20% off. Excludes RHO. See dealer for details. Or expand your options for off-road exploration with a new 2026 Jeep Gladiator. Save 15% off during the Make This the Summer event. Plus, get 2.9% financing for 72 months. So get off your keister and get to John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington today.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
The sounds of summer. They're great until they're not. Luckily, AutoZone has free battery testing and charging.
Let me check that for you.
To help make a rough moment smooth. Don't miss the Celebrate Free event at AutoZone. Free products with select deals until July 27th. And free services every day. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Tim Donnelly here for Bailey's Fine Jewelry, where they have a timepiece, a luxury timepiece for you. I like to say that your interest in watches, your likes, your taste, it's as unique as you are. Some people, they want history. They want military history like Hamilton. They want watchmaking innovation history like the Blancpain 50 Fathoms, granddaddy of all the dive watches, or the Moon Watch from Omega that's been worn on the moon more than any other watch. Some want something brand new. Some want something innovative. Some want something trendy. The Norcanes, the more modern pre-owned and vintage Rolex. There are so many options when it comes to what you wear on your wrist, what statement you want to make. And lucky for us, the Fox & Bailey Watch Shop, located inside Bailey's Fine Jewelry at their Village District location, as well as the Omega Boutique, the largest of its kind in the country, and the main showroom at Bailey's, have it all. No matter what you want your luxury timepiece to say, they have the watch for you.
All of us have a role to play in promoting a mental health friendly workplace.
So what can I do to help?
As a CEO, I can set the tone for a supportive culture.
As a manager, I can offer assistance and accommodations.
As a coworker, I can be a source of support.
As someone with a mental health condition, I can ask for what I need to perform my best.
What can I do?
What can I do?
I can remind others that none of us are alone.
And that we all benefit from workplaces that promote good mental health.
Learn more at whatcanyoudocampaign.org.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. I mean, mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
This is Adam Gold.
He doesn't have many years to choose from.
No, and part of that was COVID. Nobody's picking COVID.
COVID was a great year.
Yeah.
Look, if you invested in Zoom,
Oh, that was a good year.
you
Yes.
had a good year during COVID.
Yep.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show live, ACC football kickoff, Charlotte, Uptown,
Yeah.
Hilton, Wes Durham, the voice of the Atlantic Coast Conference. The reason that the league turns a profit.
Apparently a good profit.
$900 million
Yeah.
or more,
Yeah.
according to Jim Phillips today.
Yeah,
Congratulations,
Gonna
sir.
swing by and visit with the commissioner a little bit.
Do you have?
See if I can pick up 3 or 4% of that.
I think you should get.
What's 904%? Do the math on that, AG. You went to Maryland.
I have. Therefore, I carry the one.
And Dr. Connie Book, the president of Elon, is hoping I don't do the math. She's holding her breath as she listens to the show.
All right, so when I mean, I don't want to start serious.
Why not?
All right, when you hear 900 million, and that's
Yeah.
going to be the number that the league estimates it'll be more than that.
Right.
What is that? I mean, that's a good number.
Yeah, it's a great number. It's a record number.
Right.
Of course, you've got a record number of teams. You have
one of them takes nothing.
One of them takes nothing and still manages somehow to continue to, it's like they said in the opening of the Beverly Hillbillies: oil, black gold, Texas tea. The old school in me has a hard time with this, right? I believe that we're closing in on the tipping point.
Oh yeah,
of this being something that is either going to go one way or the other, right? We're going to, the proverbial Rubicon we're getting ready to see.
Mm-hmm.
So all these numbers are fine, but why do people still say we got to have more money? You got 900 million.
Yeah.
And you got to find more money.
Always.
So it's a tangled web we weave.
Mhm.
I've used all the cliches here.
There you go.
So, we'll see, but good for the league. And I do agree with the commissioner on this light. There is more momentum. There is more excitement.
Sure.
There is more interest. I think our partnership, ESPN and the ACC, has proven to be valuable. These windows they're getting on Friday, I think, are going to be really, really interesting.
It's about time.
Yeah, it is. And they have found the one place. And people say, well, I'm not sure I like Friday. Well, you can't do Thursday. The NFL has taken some of that space. Saturday, it's Catalog of America. And they don't play on Sundays. They don't play on Mondays. They're going to play Labor Day night. But I think in the new NFL CBA, you're going to lose Mondays.
Yep.
Labor Day night, because I think the NFL's coming for that weekend.
Sure.
In 29.
Yeah.
Along with an expanded schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of the game we're playing. And the ACC is trying to stay competitive in the game. And right now, I think they're doing a good job.
People have been listening to this show for however long. I've been saying for years, plant a flag on Friday, get there before everybody else, establish yourself as ACC Friday Night Football. And I get it. The people who love high school football, especially in states where Friday night high school football is a big deal. North Carolina, I don't know if it's a big deal in Virginia or not. Like, you don't have to feature the teams from North Carolina on Friday night. You can, I grew up where high school football was played on Saturdays.
Yep, Maryland. That's right. Yeah.
I
Jersey?
grew up well, we don't have an ACC team in New Jersey yet, do we?
Not yet. No, we have one in Western New York, Central New York.
There we do.
Upstate.
So, the people who want or need to go to high school football games are still going to go.
Yes.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think we're really drawing one for the other. It's bad for coaches.
Yeah.
Because coaches would like to be present.
Well, and I went to high school in a small town outside of Raleigh. I went to school in Apex, where Friday night football was important to the community. As the triangle has gotten bigger and Raleigh has gotten bigger, I'm not sure where that stands. Apex is one of the most desirable places to live now. But I live
good living.
I live in a small town.
Right.
Now I live in Cartersville, Georgia, where high school football on Friday night is important.
Yeah.
And I know it's important across the fabric of this country, just as the sport continues to grow. in places like that. But I also am aware that if there's a television window, you can get some discernible attention for your program by playing on Friday night. And if you play it on ESPN on a Friday night, a lot of people are going to watch.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of reasons for that. But at the same time, I just feel like the ACC has found a sweet spot in the schedule where they can do some good work.
And I haven't looked at the schedule, but here's what I'm hoping.
Okay.
I'm hoping we're not burying Georgia Tech, Boston College.
No.
I'm hoping we're not burying bad games on a Friday night.
First one's going to be Stanford, Miami.
Well, at least you got Miami.
At the Farm on Friday night, and Stanford's going to be better.
Okay.
You're going to get Clemson on a Friday night.
Sure.
You're going to get North Carolina on a Friday night. You're going to get Virginia Tech on a Friday night. You're going to get Louisville on a Friday.
Good.
I mean, you're going to get SMU. I mean, you're going to get some teams that are quality football teams on a Friday night. So, yeah, I would say this. The league has done you got 15 windows, man. Come on.
Right.
Let's be honest. You got some double headers. I mean, you're going to have two ACC games on a Friday night sometimes.
I love it.
Yeah, it's great.
How many Friday games do you have? You have a new crew, by the way.
I do. Max Brown and Madison Fitzpatrick are going to be terrific. I'm excited to be with both of them. We're going to start week 0.
Yes.
On Rio Road, not Rio, Brazil.
They call it the Brazil of these Mid-Atlantic.
Of the Commonwealth.
Yeah,
the Brazil of the Commonwealth. Yeah, Charlottesville. Thank you. NC State, Virginia at 3:30 on ESPN on the 29th. That hasn't been publicly announced, but I may have just done it.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, so I'm not going to Rio de Janeiro. I'm going to Rio Road in
Like
Charlottesville, and excited about that. And yeah,
shorter trip.
Yeah, much shorter, safer. But no, I think it's a terrific game for us to get, and looking forward to seeing the Wolfpack and the Cavaliers opening week 0, and I'm excited about week 0 in the ACC with 5 teams playing. So.
Yeah, we have a game in Dublin, right?
Carolina, TCU. You got Florida State hosting New Mexico State. You got Stanford and Hawaii.
Nice.
On the Farm.
Let me ask you about Bill Belichick in year 2.
Mm-hmm.
Year 1, all the hype, all the attention. We knew. I mean, I talked about it for months on end that it was going to be the most attention any team had ever gotten going into and during a season for various reasons. And it almost didn't matter if Carolina was good or not.
Right.
They were always going to get that attention because people had hot takes about how can they not be good? Bill Belichick's the greatest coach we've ever seen. Because it's about talent. It's about players, and they didn't have good players. And I'm not sure they have dramatically better players this year than they did last year. They won 4 games last year. Everybody tells me they're going to be better, but the schedule is much more difficult. So what is success for UNC?
It's a good question.
Thank you.
I don't know that there's a right answer. I agree with you. They were 4-8 last year. They could be 4-8 and better this year because of the schedule. The concern I have about North Carolina is where are they going to be on the front, both offensively and defensively? Do they have enough playmakers other than Damon June in the run game?
Right.
Jordan Shipp in the catch game. I saw bits and pieces last year to lead me to believe Bobby Petrino can draw plays.
Sure.
Bobby Petrino can put points on the board. Are they going to be better defensively? Because defensively, outside of Abu Jude, they weren't very impactful getting to the passer. Now, Melkart is a player.
Right.
That kid is a football player. Did they do enough in the portal to get some stuff done there? We'll see. I just don't know, Adam. That's as simple as I can put it.
And because I think there are other things at work when you come to North Carolina, when you come to UNC football, and it's not like you talked about the offensive lines and on the front end. I'm thinking about around the program. What is the commitment around this? If they have another 4-8 year, even if they're better, even if they show improvement on the field, but they don't qualify for a bowl game, right? What is the commitment around the program to do this another year? I mean, they got to pay him anyway. And I said at the very beginning of this that if we need success right away, we're crazy. That it's going to be a 2 or 3 year deal before they could really figure it out. Because the coaching staff and Mike Lombardi, they needed time to figure out how this thing works. I think they were surprised at how it wasn't as easy as they thought going in.
Yeah, and there's other elements too. The landscape's different as
Very.
much as you think. It's like Sundays. It's not. There is a financial end to this road. There's not a cap. You have to make good decisions in your evaluation.
Sure.
I mean, Dennis Scott said it in basketball 100 times. A lot of the success you see of particular basketball teams comes from the chemistry of portal and high school. And how good are you at evaluating the player that's coming in that you're going to pay? He said, really, you have to be good at evaluation as good as you are at coaching. North Carolina clearly has to be good at evaluation. Were they competitive in the evaluation and then competitive financially to get the players that could change the game for them? We'll see. When healthy, Billy Edwards is a pretty good quarterback, but he's got to be healthy.
Is he the kid from Massachusetts who was going to go to Texas A&M with? Because I'll bet you that is the kid that they end up using. Maybe Billy Edwards will be.
Billy Edwards started his college career at Maryland, went to Wisconsin,
right,
and
okay.
now is at Chapel Hill. Yeah,
Well, maybe they've got two options.
yeah, maybe. I mean, we'll see. I don't know what he's going to tell you in here on Thursday or
Right.
Friday, rather, but they've got to be better.
Oh, my gosh.
I think they're going to be better. How much better as it relates to the landscape of competing for top five? I don't know.
In top five in the league, yeah.
Yeah.
That's that.
Because I can name three now that are, and I can probably find a list of 4 or 5 that may not have them on it who are going to be in the top 5.
Well, we know who's one, right?
Miami's going to be 1. SMU, Louisville are going to be 2, 3. Clemson is going to be 4 on brand as much as anything else. And then I think we have a discussion about a combination of teams of which NC State and Georgia Tech.
Virginia
Tech.
Yeah.
I would also probably put in there, I think I'm going to put, I'm going to be cautious about this. I think Pitt is going to be the team. Remember, there's a team that always goes bottom to top, and I think Pitt could win 9 to start the year.
Really?
You look at the schedule,
okay,
and you could see Pitt running out of this thing. I mean, Pitt doesn't get on a bus. They don't get on a bus until October.
Oh, really?
They don't know what a bus looks like. I mean, if they drive to the stadium, they'll never even see a bus.
Wes Durham is joining us, the voice of the ACC here at ACC Football Kickoff. I don't know how many television contracts it is ago.
Oh boy!
Right, but
oh boy,
Florida State wasn't at at a high enough level.
That's another team,
right?
by the way, could be on the list.
Well, Florida State's got to get back to being. You can't be bad if you're
like
Florida
Packer
State.
used to say, Adam, said it until everybody's ears bled. This league's going to be good when Virginia Tech, Miami, and Florida State are good. Those 3.
ACC basketball, to put it in those terms. If Duke and Carolina are just okay, it doesn't matter how good Virginia, Georgia Tech, it doesn't matter how good they are.
Correct.
So we find John Swafford sitting at home going, that's the Miami we got 20 years ago. That's the team we were looking for. Now Miami is there, basically carrying the flag. We need Clemson to get a little bit better. I love what Virginia Tech has done. I think James Franklin will raise the level immediately.
Yes.
And I think that they'll push teams toward the top.
Agree.
I mean, I think there's probably, I don't know, maybe won't be a ceiling. There was a ceiling on Virginia Tech in the past, even when they were good. But all Virginia Tech has to be is really good, regionally competitive. And they'll take another step. And then you get some of the schools that you don't necessarily have to have, but you're going to have. I mean, State's been good. I think Virginia's getting back to being, on the same par as an NC State.
Yeah, and I think if I did say NC State,
You
they're
did.
definitely a team.
You did.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's the thing about where this all sits. Miami's going to be good.
Yeah.
Miami's got talent. They've got success. They have 2 years of 10 or more regular season wins now each year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they've got a quarterback who's dynamite. They got wide receivers. They got running backs. They got line play. Now, defensively, they lost some brands, but as Paul Johnson used to say, everybody they've signed comes highly recommended.
Sure.
So I think Miami's got staying power. Okay.
I do too.
The question is, if SMU also have staying power, I think Rhett Lashley does. I think Jeff Brom is willing to be in the circle. Okay. Who else can get there? Because that's the difference. Like Big Ten is Ohio State, Michigan. And then who else?
Right.
Somebody else.
Indiana.
Somebody gets in the discussion. It's been IU. Okay. So if it's those three, well, the ACC is going to have three.
Sure.
The SEC is going to have 2 or 3 legitimate and then 3 or 4 that are in because of association. If they played in the Big 12, they wouldn't be as regarded.
Right.
How many is the 12 going to have? Okay. And then who's coming from the other group? The new Pac-12, the new Mountain West, the whatever. I happen to think Boise State's going to be in this conversation before it's over.
Okay.
So all those little things have created the reason that people are hesitating on 12 to 24 in the bigger picture is because they don't know. They want to be able to guarantee they get a seat at the table. They don't want festival seating at the concert. They want to sit in row 4, section H, whatever. That part for me is the part that I struggle with. How are we going to do the checks and balances on that?
Are you an 8 conference game or a 9 conference game person?
I'm 9. I think we – and look.
You want to fight it out?
Well, you know where I went. And look, Elon's playing Stanford on the farm in mid-October. They played Duke. They played Wake, Carolina, so on and so forth. I mean, I think we got to get to 9. I'm not opposed. Jimbo Fisher had me this morning with a cup of coffee.
Don't tell me he's 10.
No, he's a 10 guy.
Nah.
He's 10 with 1 Power 5 non-con and 1 FCS game. That's his 12.
I'm 8.
I'm
8 all day long.
No. Here's the problem.
I just don't think you can be at 9.
Why is that?
Because you can't. Because not every team in the league can play 9.
Well,
the math doesn't math.
Well, I agree.
Somebody's
going
to play 8.
Yeah, we gotta get. I mean, there's all sorts of things like that. Maybe we ought to reward West Virginia for sending the fruit basket for so many years and just let them come in the league. Maybe UConn.
Well,
they did send the fruit basket every year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not kidding about the fruit basket, kids.
I like fruit baskets.
An
edible arrangement would be nice.
Yeah. The idea of the 9 to me is where this needs to be. And I know the math doesn't work, but I think 9 is the right number. This is the part, and you've heard me do this with Neuheisel on Sirius XM. I want more schedule coordination. I want all the 4 leagues to play the same number. I want the same structure, the same chemistry project. If you're going to play 8, everybody plays 8. Then you have to play 2 P4s, and you have to play whatever, a G5 and an FC, whatever. However you get to your 12 is up to you. But 8 straight whatevers is what I'm looking for. 9 straight conference, whatever it is. I just think the composition of the schedule has to be good for everybody and the same for everybody. But if I'm asking for that and we can't get it, imagine asking for all the rules to govern college athletics to be the same and you can't get the 4 guys to agree to it. And Jim said this today. If we don't get this done, it's on us.
Meaning 24?
No, meaning like all of college athletics and governance and all those things. And if we don't get that, that's our fault.
Sure.
Okay. Then that's him and Yormark and Sankey and Tony Petit.
Yeah. The problem with that is that 2 guys.
I'm well aware what the problem is.
All the power. And the other 2 guys have a seat watching the other 2 guys.
I'm with you on
the rules.
I'm with you on all of this.
Yeah.
I just think that at the end of the day, if we can't get this done, we're playing with fire. Because eventually we're going to break it. We're going to drop it.
Well,
it's
already been dropped.
It's the egg in risky business off the mantle.
Very good. Time of your life, Joel. So because I think it's already been dropped, right? And
Who dropped it? Mark Emmert? Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think he was there when it was dropped.
I agree.
But it was dropped when we didn't recognize that the game had changed. That politically, and this is when the Supreme Court said
beat him 9-0.
9-0, which is would never see 9-0.
We've never seen 9-0.
It was like a forfeit. When they came back with that, and Brett Kavanaugh went, "How you guys been getting away with this?" And they didn't adjust their thinking beyond, we need help from Congress.
That's it.
So we can still do what we do.
Yep.
That's when the game completely changed. They lost it. They'll never get what they want from Congress.
Totally agree.
I asked Dave Doeren. I'll close on this, Wes Durham.
Okay.
I asked Dave Doeren to give me a fix for college football. I said, not from a coaching perspective. I get the calendar and all that. I'm talking, I want you to repair college football, right? And what he said, something I've been talking about forever.
Great.
Is that we're going to set football separates from everything else. He said, give me 64 teams, 4 times 16, regional, boom, schedules are alike, and it's structured just like the NFL. Salary cap, collective bargaining, the whole thing. It is just the NFL, larger scale because more teams, college football.
I don't hate the idea.
That's where we're headed.
And you can also geographically cut it up.
Yep.
And eventually, and here's the thing too, not everybody's going to play.
No.
Not everybody needs to be in the game anyway. They're struggling with being in the game as it is. And if the game were to escalate more than 900 million, which is a huge number.
No, What the Big Ten? Talk about 1.37 billion.
Yeah.
And that, I believe, was fiscal year the previous year.
Yeah. Well, they've still got the wealthiest contract. Don't ever forget the Big Ten.
Absolutely.
Jim Delaney, no idiot. Jim Delaney, smart man.
Yep. Diversified.
Yeah. I mean, he was right there from the start. Look, I don't disagree with you on that. Dave's right. Dave's smart. I mean, he's unbelievable. So good.
I asked him, why are you still here? You gotta be sick and tired of us. I mean, I think he just loves what he does. We're going to talk. By the way, I'm previewing this. We're going to play the interview again.
He is
in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, he's terrific, and he's one of those guys that when he's done, and I've told him this, and I told Brad Brown at Clemson the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
When he's done, 5 years after he's done, we're going to recognize how valuable and impactful he was. In his case, to NC State, and Brad to Clemson basketball.
Ready for the year?
Yeah, I'm good. My golf game's lousy. I'm in a bad spot. Been in a dark place for a while.
You need some stroke-saving tips, I think. I know where you can find them online.
I do too. Yeah. You notice I haven't put any tips on because I don't have tips. I don't have Tim's tips from the tee or whatever they are. Or
Bless his heart,
some
man.
guy named Cadillac shooting video of me swinging. So, great to see you.
Wes Durham, you're the man.
Be well. Victoria, congratulations. You've made the ACC kickoff again. You got a credential and everything.
They let me out for a day.
2 years in a row.
2 years in a row.
Right.
You're a crusty veteran. You go to the hostility room tonight, you could be all conference.
Excellent. Excellent.
See you guys.
Dave Doeren next.
Still arguing whether hockey or golf has the tougher dress code? The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Ever tried balancing a dozen eggs in one hand while hopping on one foot? Or maybe juggling cats while riding the unicycle? Sounds ridiculous, right? But guess what? That's exactly what texting while driving is like. Your human brain only has the capacity to focus on one thing at a time. So when you're behind the wheel, give driving your undivided attention.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
If you see a teen or adult suddenly collapse, start hands-only CPR by calling 911.
Then push hard and fast in the center of the chest until help arrives.
Visit goredforwomen.org/women and CPR to learn more.
Hi, I'm Kim Holderness.
And I'm Penn Holderness. You don't have to have an amazing race to the doctor, but you should make time for routine cancer screenings.
I schedule my mammogram and other cancer screenings around my birthday and then treat myself to lunch.
I do too, because, of course, everyone likes lunch.
This C word can be scary, but routine screenings can detect cancer before symptoms appear.
And early detection equals better outcomes.
Go to preventcancer.org to find out which cancer screenings you need.
We don't want you on our team. You're too slow and fat.
This is weight bias.
Don't you care how you look?
Those with the serious disease called obesity face weight bias every day.
You're not the right fit for this job.
And blame themselves.
I wish I was different.
Weight bias hurts.
Let's stop weight bias.
Be part of the solution. Go to stopweightbias.com, a public service message from Obesity Action Coalition.
No matter your struggle, you are not alone. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is free, private, and always available. If you feel lonely, isolated, anxious, or overwhelmed, help is here all day and night. Call, text, or chat 988 without cost, without judgment, and without waiting for an appointment. You'll get support that can make a difference. Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. We're delving into a new NCHA report titled More Than Medicine, the Economic Impact of North Carolina Hospitals. My guest is Josh Dobson, President and CEO of the North Carolina Healthcare Association.
Hospitals generated about $52 billion in economic impact last year, roughly 6% of the entire state's gross domestic product. They spent around $44 billion on operations and workforce expenses. And that spending does ripple outward into local economies. Hospitals are often among the largest employers in a region, especially rural communities. In fact, they're among the top 10 employers in 95 of North Carolina's 100 counties.
You can learn more and join our latest conversations on the state of healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. And find out more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
Adam Gold here from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Into the late stages now of the greatest tournament in the world, the biggest tournament that we have ever had for the global game. And FanDuel has a great idea for you. We're just going to be very generic here. Player A, you have an anytime goal bet on him, or he's part of a 4-leg parlay. But he has a microfracture in his leg. He leaves the pitch at the half. Player B comes on. You get player B. It's called FanDuel Super Sub. So you always have some skin in the game, so to speak, and your guy doesn't leave and your bet leaves with it. FanDuel.com/local, FanDuel.com/local. Get started today. FanDuel's Super Sub. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
If you want the nation's best auto insurer, look no further than North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Rated #1 in Crash Network's Insurer Report Card 7 years in a row, we're the only insurer in the nation to receive an A+ rating from auto body shops. Our philosophy is simple: be fair, be quick, be the best. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
This is Adam Gold.
I wanted to tell Victoria that my daughter said she is not eating any more magical Cheez-Its until the season starts.
Yes, I love this. We got a revolution going.
The Adam Gold Show.
It is the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Summer of Soccer. World Cup. Second semifinal today, England and Argentina. I'm going to guess that Dave Doeren, entering his 14th year as head coach at NC State, not locked into the World Cup?
Not at all. Nothing against them.
Right.
Soccer fans can have at it, but that's just not how I spend my time. I'm cheering for the U.S. all day long, but I'm not going to be watching it.
It's all right. It's okay. I mean, I've loved it, but I'm glad I'm here, and I'm glad to see you. 14th season. I don't know how to say this. Why are you still here? You got to be sick of us already.
Yeah, people are sick of my ass too, so that's just part of it. And then people want something new and shiny too, and that's not me. But I'm going to keep fighting my ass off for this school and this program because I believe in it.
Give me a big pic, your big picture, not anybody else's, your big picture description of NC State football.
Hard, tough together. I mean, it's a bunch of blue-collar guys that love the brotherhood, love to compete, and know that there's a cost. And it takes a lot of sweat equity.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of tough, transparent conversations, and it takes good people. One thing that I pride myself on is not going to work with people I don't like being around. And so, our culture is built on that. Good people that love to work hard, that love to compete, and want to treat people the right way.
Is it harder to identify, I guess in the coaching profession, you have experience with these people. It's easier. But is it harder to identify the players at an earlier age to have those types of traits?
You have to speed up the process, and you got to have your bull meter. I mean, it's got to be real, okay? Because you're looking for what you don't want to.
Right.
And that's more important, really, to be honest, than it's not hard to find a talented football player.
Right.
It's hard to find one that fits your culture. And so you got to really look hard for the things that could blow up. And that's what we do. I mean, we go around and we talk to a lot of people, and you got to do it fast now because these kids, especially in the portal window, like that's a quick decision they're making. I call it speed dating. And it's, because they're coming in for 24 hours and leaving and making big decisions, right? And we are too. And so, yeah, and your staff has to stick to your guns. Like, they have to protect our culture. And I tell them that, like, you're the guardians of what we've built here, and we want it to be better, not worse. So don't bring a problem into this locker room by recruiting the wrong type of guy.
Right. I'm gonna pick that up in a second, but the way you were talking about culture and all of that, and I know you've done the siren at NC State. I know Rod Brindamore has had a little bit of a presence around NC State football. I remember Jacob Slavin speaking to the team prior to last season, and they pride themselves. Maybe it's something about the area, right? The Lenovo Center and Carter Finley Stadium so close to each other. But they're about culture and finding the right fit. Does your idea, does that evolve over time? Has that evolved over time? 14 years is a long time.
Definitely have evolved a lot in the last 5 years because of the rule changes in football. Right. And I have so much respect for Coach Brindamore and their team and their family and how they do everything over there. I just season ticket holders in hockey for a while here. Like, unfortunately, we weren't this year. But, when I had my 3 sons in the house, like that's what they wanted to do. The 3 were addicted to watching the Canes. And so we would go or they would go. And what it did for Raleigh watching that this year was awesome. But I think you have to evolve. And there's no way I'd still be here if I hadn't. Right. There's no way. I would have failed miserably had I not evolved in the space that we're in now and trying to find new and better ways to do things.
Give me an evolution of Dave Doeren, the coach. I'll ask you about offense, how you approach offensive football. How has that changed over the last half decade?
Yeah, I still think the DNA of it's still got to be physical. Right. And that hasn't changed. When I was the first 2 years as a head coach at Northern Illinois, I mean, we went as fast as you could humanly go, and that killed our defense. And so, but we still won a lot of games, but we scored a ton of points. And I've learned how to be a coach that understands complementary football. And I think, whether it's outscoring someone or stopping someone or playing great special teams, every snap matters in the game, and they all serve each other. And so I've had to really understand that, being an offensive player in college, but a defensive coach as an assistant, I do understand both sides of the ball pretty well. And I have to really look at what's this side of the ball going to do for that side of the ball, and vice versa. And if the offense is hot, I'm going to lean on it. If the defense is hot, I'm going to lean on it. And it may be opposite of what I thought was going to happen in the game. We played a certain team last year. I thought they were going to be really good against us on defense, and we blew them away. And so in that game, we started taking a bunch of chances because they weren't playing well. And there's other games where it's the opposite, right? And they're like, well, why'd you punt the ball right there? I'm like, because my defense hadn't given up a point in the game. So why wouldn't I just lean on them? So you got to learn how to lean on what's working. And I think offense is more player than play. Whereas before it was like, hey, it's a cool play, let's run it. Like, no. How do we get this guy the ball?
Right. Okay.
This guy needs to touch the football. How can we get our best player on their worst player and match guys up in better ways?
Dave Doeren is joining us here at ACC Football Kickoff. Your best player, C.J. Bailey.
Right.
First of all, he has to make a decision. Where you have that window. It's probably a longer window to stay because you've got all this time that you have spent. And there's also time where you explain where we're going.
Right.
But explain to me why C.J. decided that this was the place for him and not elsewhere. I mean, we said down the road, Darren Mensah had an amazing year and left.
Yeah. Well, I think with CJ and really college football, it's relational for me. It's also transactional now. And CJ had to make a decision. And I think it's a huge statement to what NC State is. It's a great place. And he didn't have to stay here.
Right.
And he stayed because he trusts. He trusts the coaches. He trusts the the process. He trusts the trainers. He trusts the strength coaches. He knew that we were making him better, and he likes it here, and he wants to make it better. And so it's a statement to him on how great a kid he is and how strong his character is. It's also a statement to our culture because he didn't have to stay in it. He could have gone, and he had a lot of opportunities to leave, but he chose to stay and make this place better.
It used to be a case where you would just go re-recruit or recruit the player, explain how he fits into the offense going forward. But now that pitch is also financial. How does that – I mean, do other people have to get involved with you for that?
Yeah, I've most of us now have a general manager, a GM, and so the GM handles the money talks. I handle the rest of it, the direction, the playing time, the scheme, whatever's going on, right? How we're going to make them better. The value in staying and all those things. But when it comes to the dollars, I felt like for me, it changes my relationship with the player, if that's what I'm talking about. I don't want to do that. And so Andy Vaughn, our GM, does a great job sitting down with these guys or their agents or their family, however they work it out, and have those kind of discussions.
I was talking to somebody who knows players and knows talent that thinks that CJ could end up being the best quarterback in the country. What do you see because he's been sort of a blank canvas, right? Like he's got all this the obvious physical gifts. Yeah. He can throw it, he can run, he's got great size. He's, I think, faster than people think.
Much faster.
He actually reminds me of I'm going to use a baseball player here. Darryl Strawberry never looked like he was running fast, but he was fast.
Yeah.
And to me, that's CJ. So what kind of player can he be?
I think everything he said is accurate. I mean, I think he can be the best. And to be the best quarterback, you got to have a surrounding cast that allows that to happen. And so we got to do our part, our offensive line, our backs, our tight ends, our receiver. We all got to play hard for him, right? And we got to make the plays that we can make, and then every now and then make an unbelievable play, right? And he's just got to manage the game and let his talent take over. And but he's a special young man, and he's a very gifted one. He could be as good as anybody or better than anybody in this game.
Dave Doeren is with us. Last year, I asked you about the college football playoff, which was 12 teams for the second straight year. And you had suggested 24. And I'll be honest, I was like, wow, that's crazy. But it looks like that's where we're headed. So looks like you were right.
Yeah.
What do you like about a number like that?
Well, I think if you look at other tournament sports, look at the percentage of teams that get into their tournament, and that's where we're going with 24. There's 130 Division I schools roughly.
Right.
And so you're talking about a pretty small percentage still of teams that are going to make it. And being an FCS coach and being a part of the playoffs at Montana, Selection Sunday is a very special day in FCS football. And you find out who's playing who, where you're seated, what schools are going to be on your campus. And it's electric, man. And you do that on a global stage at this level. I think it's going to be so awesome when they do it. And why 24? Access matters. You need to give teams a chance to compete. And they did all these studies. Like we would have been in as NC State during my tenure 5 times, in the playoffs. And so, wouldn't I want to be in 5 times, right? Like that's
right.
Because if you want to be a guy that can recruit, what's a recruit want to know? Can you get us in the playoffs, right? Do I have a chance to compete for a national championship? Well, if you can't get in the playoffs, you don't. Well, now we do. And so to me, it's a huge thing for NC State to be able to say that we have an opportunity to do that.
What does it do? Like you can be good in the 2014 field.
Yeah.
You can be good and not make the top 24. What does it do if you fall just below that threshold?
Well, it's going to be interesting with the bowl games and, where do they go? Do they remain postseason opportunities? Does it turn into the NIT where nobody cares about them and they disappear? I don't know. I mean, that's something that obviously is going to have to be sorted out. But none of us get into it to be outside of, right? We want to be in it. And so that's going to be the deal is how do you get in? And you got to go fight and compete to be there.
Make college football better for me. Tell me something that from your perspective, and I know from a coach's perspective, calendar and things like that would be much better for you, but make college football as an entity better. How do you do it?
I'd get a billionaire to buy college football.
Well, there's somebody that probably would do it.
I would, and you're asking.
Right.
I'd get 64 committed teams, and I'd have 4 leagues, and like the AFC, NFC.
Right.
I'd put them back in geographical regions that actually make sense for the schools. And those 16 teams would play, and then you'd have a playoffs with a wild card, and it'd be just like the NFL. We also would have collective bargaining, and we would have a salary cap. And then we'd find out who can coach instead of who can just pay for their talent. And to me, that's what the NCAA was. It was about having a level playing field.
Right.
Well, it's as unlevel as it's ever been right now. And so how do you do it? You're going to have someone take it from the NCAA and buy it and put it into a system that actually has – we already have the blueprint, the NFL.
Sure. There you go. There's the model, the NFL. We've been talking about this for a while. Separation from the rest. College football, that's where we're headed. When everybody's afraid that Clemson and Florida State and whoever knows who else is going to leave the ACC in 2030, yeah, well, I think the whole thing's going to look a whole lot different in 2030, to be perfectly honest. And maybe Clemson and Florida State won't leave the ACC. Football will just leave everybody and do their own thing. And then the ACC can go back to being what the ACC was. No offense to Cal and Stanford and SMU, and to a certain extent, Louisville. We can just go back to being the ACC. And I think everybody would love that for other sports. All right, before we get out of here, it was announced today the Carolina Hurricanes will raise their Stanley Cup banner on Tuesday, September 29th, the home opener against the Florida Panthers. Lord have mercy. 5 o'clock start. Oh, 5 o'clock, can't do it. Stop. Everybody's going to be too jacked up to work anyway. Come on. You're not going to concentrate on spreadsheets. You're not going to produce widgets. We don't produce widgets anymore, do we? Look, we're all going to be fired up for the game. Probably already be out at Lenovo Center by 1 o'clock anyway. So this will save us getting all stupid. 5 o'clock start. Look, I got to go to work earlier. I got to go to work at 4 with the pregame show. We do an hour for the opener.
Hey, at least parking might be back to normal then.
No. Parking fee, $200 a night or something like that. Look, it's fine. I love the fact that they're opening with the Panthers. Yeah. I think it'll be great. Great atmosphere. And we're going to watch the banner go up. Stop complaining about that. ACC football kickoff's been fun. Victoria, thank you.
Yeah, it's been fun.
See everybody later.
Because your fantasy football team needs all the help it can get, The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.